Welcome to Garena Masters Season 4, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This show is brought to you by Garena Call of Duty Mobile. My name's AJ. I'm the Mustachio down here with the one and only Neptune, the gentleman Garcia. And we are straight out a walkover victory for West Point Mamba Lowkings. 3-0. Shush just stayed silent and didn't show up.
Yeah, I mean, we've been we're not silent in the background while countdown is going, but unfortunate for this, Shush has been shushed at some point, and they don't want to be bitten by the Mambas right there. So, well, I guess it is what it is. It's just that some of the teams doesn't have that much, I would say that much of mental fortitude to really go ahead or go head to head against teams just like West Point Mamba Lowkings.
And I think that's terrible. I think that is such a huge waste. You know, when someone hands you gold, you slap it away thinking that it's chocolate. Yeah, this is just one of those situations. You say, no, Mama told me chocolate brings diabetes. No, it was a bar of gold. You know, facing the West Point Mamba Lowkings, you may get beaten down to a point where you are embarrassed. Yeah. But the worth of going up against such a squad, the worth of taking the knowledge away from getting beaten down by them could have done Shush a lot of good. Now, I don't know exactly why they didn't show up for their matchup, but I think regardless of the reason, it has been a true loss for Shush not showing up against West Point Mamba Lowkings. We all know exactly how that match would have gone, but I think that, you know, learning from that game could have just put Shush on a much better level. And that's exactly why I want to see all of these teams, regardless of where they do stand within the standings, stand within the standings, to actually take every single battle and give it their all. Give it their best. I mean, Neptune, that's exactly what this is all about, man. You gotta give your best all the time, regardless of how the outcome's gonna be.
Exactly, and like what you mentioned, like you have to lose many times, especially as a rookie, for you to learn and move up. And that's one thing that they're missing. Like even with the lineup that we have right now, and this is not to put down any team, they have taken only one map win out of everyone that they have, but they are still going on. So hopefully that one map win in comparison to the other teams is not a factor that pushed Shush not to play this time, but it's a lot of factor wherein the teams who are moving in here for the first time, or probably for the longest time they are coming back, they have a lot to learn in the competitions, just like Garena Masters 4.
I mean, I couldn't agree more with you, man. But hopefully, you know, some of the other teams do see this fact and they see their fights all the way through. I mean, dude, you and I wouldn't be here today if we didn't make our fair share of mistakes and grow along with it, right? Nobody starts off at 100%. Nobody starts off as a legend unless you were literally born a legend and you are like some son of Zeus or something. Let's take a look at the tournament format. As things started out, obviously hundreds of teams, more than 200 teams jumped on in to battle it out for this opportunity. But only 16 have managed to earn their spots. And through the double round robin in this group stages, the top 2 of each group will move on to the playoffs. And that's only going to be the 8 teams, where they will go through a double elimination format to see exactly who our champion is going to be, Neptune.
Exactly, and I love how it's ending up for some of the teams right now, especially for those who don't have that much of a threat and they have a chance to go into playoffs later on and, like what we mentioned earlier, learn from the top dogs in this competition. But the champions have yet to be seen right now, and also those moving in on the playoffs, because there's a lot more of matches that will be happening right here, especially for the 4 groups that we have. And later on, we're going to see that schedule as well as how they're ranking all overall in terms of wins and loss. But like what we mentioned earlier, it doesn't matter how it look in number, it's more of what's underneath. How are you learning every time? And even if there are rematches that have been happening, what adjustment have you done on the second time around that you face these teams?
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you know, we saw a few adjustments yesterday that I'm just very, very proud of. And that's what gets me so excited, right? Because those adjustments don't necessarily end in a victory for those teams, but they show us that they are learning from this experience, they are learning from that process, and they are trying to be better each and every single day. I think the battle yesterday that we witnessed between R&D as well as EZR showed us exactly how much has R&D grown. But you know, it's not just the losers who are growing, the winners are growing at the very same pace, at the very same time as well. Because, you know, it would be absolutely silly to win and then, just sit on your laurels and not do anything about it whatsoever, right? So this is what's beautiful about this double round robin group setup, that shows us clearly exactly who's putting in the work and, who's giving up a little bit too early on their journey.
Yeah, and we're going to see right now the groups, specifically those from Group A. We have SKADI from the Norwegian goddess of hunting and winter, Is Reborn, who has been showing a little bit of rebirth in their games. Broke Boys Club. I mean, they're not broke anymore. They might be broken at some point against some teams. Yeah. And RND, like, there is no research and development. They are in here just to execute all those plans in these matches.
Oh, dude, I hope they did their research. I hope they developed their own skills, because the Broke Boys Club will be taking them on in the very next series. And I don't think it's going to be easy at all. The last time the Broke Boys Club went up against them, they broke R&D. They broke their strategies. But of course, we've also got Group B in the mix. We've got the best girls team in the universe, the one and only DIVINUS. We've got Blacklist International Ultimate, the ultimate team within this grouping in itself. Kazoku Legacy, those who currently struggle. And the Huntsmen squad from Malaysia that has seen some better days in their run within the tournament, but recent times have been a challenge. That being said, though, they still do hold on to that second spot, because they did manage to beat down DIVINUS, and today they will be in participation once again as they take on Kazoku Legacy. That's going to be the second series, technically the third series of the day, but the first one was a walkover, so yeah, it's going to be the second one technically.
Yeah, and for Group C, we have LF Org, who might be seeked by some organization because of performance that they have been showing, but in this group they have been overtaken by Smart Omega and Almighty. I mean, these two titans in here, the battle that happened yesterday, how some of we are expecting a different result, might be going in favoring Smart Omega, because how the back and forth has been happening. But Almighty doesn't want to give that in this competition. They just want to give it all, and that's what we love about some teams. As our NACAGUE as well is in here, will be showing up against Almighty, so we'll have to find out what adjustment they will be doing in that matchup. And for Group D, we have the 4 S-Kings, 4 Suits Kings right here. RAU, FRANIC, SHUSHHH, and West Point Mambo Lowkings. We've seen how dominant West Point Mambo Lowkings has been overall, and it's not just for this season, even from the previous season. Once they go in on the group stage, they don't hold off. They want to give everything out, and I think there's a little bit of risk in that format because of how much it has been read by the other teams when they go into playoffs. But I think with how they have been moving in terms of adjustment and strategy, they are pulling out different cards which might not be read by the teams on the playoffs. But Forces Kings, RAU, FRANIC, looking forward to them. This time SHUSHHH will not be showing, and we're expecting a little bit more from these teams. But that is the introduction for all the groups right here, and I say we did a little bit of justice into the introduction. Hopefully they can put a little bit more of justice to change what we have in the standings right now. Oh yeah, amen, man. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Now, as we look at the standings, I just want to touch on the point that you brought up about West Point Mambo Lowkings showing off all of their potential skills out there, as well as exposing some of their strats. What if that's not all they have to deliver, right? What if they have got way more to give out there, and this is just the tip of the iceberg? I'm looking forward to that, because these are the Mambas that have just been coiled up. They are now ready to strike. They've been dominating these community tournaments for so long, and now they want to show that even Garena can be dominated. They've been practicing with the younger kids, and not younger by age, I'm just talking about younger by experience. But now they're going up against the big boys. Not just yet, because within this grouping itself, they are the big boys. But when they head on into that playoffs, that's where the true matchup starts for them. When we look at Group A, on the other hand, Neptune, SKADI is holding on to that #1 spot. But I am expecting EZR Esports to challenge the Broke Boys Club for this second spot. Now, R&D may have been out of the competition already, looking at how they have compared to some of these other teams, but R&D can still do EZR a solid by pulling away at least one map from the Broke Boys Club today. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that we like to see from teams Randy or RND right here. I've seen them in one of your community scrimmage, and like that's one thing that I love about teams who are joining scrimmages and even competition. And that's one reason probably why they were able to get into group stages, because they have been practicing, and a lot more practice might be done, will be done. And going back, I want to circle back to West Point Bombero Lowkings. They're one of the rookies when they started off in Garena Masters, but right now how they're dominating it. These teams who might be in the bottom half of each group, they might be the next rookie, and we might see a lot more of dominance from them in the future. But it's more of hopes right now, especially how they stand in this competition. Hopes that they will move up a little bit higher, as well as learn a little bit more in this tournament. And I like to see them moving forward in the next seasons of Garena Masters.
I definitely resonate with your thoughts, Neptune. I mean, it's so painful if you are RND, if you're Kazoku Legacy, if you're SHUSHHH, if you're SR, to see yourself at the very bottom. But, you know, sometimes instead of just being caught in this one specific moment, you also got to recognize that out of the 200 plus teams, you are here in the group stage. I mean, you might get beaten down, but these are the best of the best. These are the creme de la creme of Call of Duty mobile teams and talents that are out there. You are one of them, but you're just not cutting up to what you expect of yourself. But it's not gonna always be this way, right? I mean, you know, like you said, everybody started somewhere. West Point Bombero Lowkings started from somewhere. You know, Huntsmen, Almighty, Smart Omega, they all started from somewhere. But it's all about how you finish, how you end. But you know, the end is not just the end of Garena Masters. You know, the end is when you choose to literally stop playing, literally walk away from the competitive scene as a whole. So hopefully it doesn't end prematurely for them, and they continue raking in all of this experience to dominate in the near future, just like how some of these big boys have been stepping it up. I mean, I'm very excited to see some of these teams. I'm very disappointed that it was a walkover victory once again between SHUSHHH and West Point Bombero Lowkings, because SHUSHHH not showing up, you know, didn't give me a chance to see how much they've improved. It also didn't give me the chance to watch West Point Bombero Lowkings slither around the freaking battlefield.
Yeah, I mean, well, it is what it is. We want to see a lot more from these teams, but it's depending on how they choose to. So for today's schedule, as you can see, there's no time in there first, because it has been dictated already. It has been won by West Point Bombero Lowkings already. And going in on the second series on this list, RND and Broke Boys Club. And we're waiting for RND right now to put execution on all the plans, and probably break one against the BBCs. They were able to do that for one of the hard point, but the gap is so slim. It's only 3 points right there, and I couldn't attribute it to luck. It's more of how well Broke Boys Club really got back into play. So hopefully that will be the same story for RND this time, as they give us a different result. Kazoku Legacy and Huntsmen, the consistency of Huntsmen right here, they will be in there challenging Kazoku Legacy, and I would say it's really a challenge for the Legacy right here, because so far in terms of their performance, I would say it's not that well, but they can do a little bit more better.
And, you know, at the end of the day, sometimes it is just that little bit of a hurdle that you need to overcome. But all of the effort, though, will go ahead to pay off, Neptune. $26,500 US on the line to play for. First place takes home a solid 10K. I mean, come on, bro. I wish I was a pro player, because that's that's a hefty salary right there.
Yeah, that's a $500,000 in the Philippine peso, even more. So for those taking the first place, a lot more of chances for you to upgrade everything that you need in competitions just like this. And that's why we love underdogs moving up slowly but surely in places like first, second, third, and fourth, because at some point they're not just improving their skills, their tactics, but they have a chance as well to get all of this moolah and put it into better use in the upcoming competition. But well, we are going to look at the lineup right now of the teams who will be going in. Again, this is RND. We have Tokyo, Outdeads, Morton, J, Ezreal, Malik, and Jay. I mean, as you can see, we have a 6-man on his lineup. We're looking forward to how they will play this time. Probably they will give us a different result after this match.
I mean, fingers crossed that is going to be the case, because I'm going to be depending on Malik, just like how the rest of R&D is going to be depending on him to solidly carry the squad once again in that search and destroy. The last time they went up against the Broke Boys Club, they got smashed 7-1 on firing range. Malik did not step up on that game, but apart from that S&D, Malik has always been stepping up. So what just shows us is if he is on his A game, the other teams better fear exactly what R&D can bring to the table. But when you look at the Broke Boys Club, it's going to be Young Jay, Freezy, Jello, Josh, Z-Man, and the one and only 7. This is a stacked roster. I mean, the Broke Boys Club, the name of the brand might be new, but the players are not new to the scene at all. They know exactly what they're doing out there on the battlefield, and it's going to be a challenge for whoever it is to take them on.
Exactly. I mean, most of the teams are coming from RTL Esports. That is a familiar brand, especially in Garena Masters, and also from Garena U Challengers. We have J1 Cynic, couple coming from J1 Cynic in here, in the name of this is Josh, and if I'm not mistaken, Z-Man as well. So a combination. They might be titled as broke, but they are not broken in the battlefield. They understand well how they can fight it off in this matchup. Looking at the head-to-head right now, it's gearing towards Broke Boys Club right here, especially with the average kills and average scores, and even on the KD ratio. So like, it's still just on the head-to-head, gearing towards the right side.
Yeah, I mean, except of course the deaths, where 7's just cracking up the rates here for no reason whatsoever. But he is a very aggressive player, right? He steps on out into the open. He's very confident with his gun skills. He knows that he can take down a couple of players before getting slain himself. I mean, look at that KD ratio, 2.61. He manages to 100% shut down 2 players before he himself gets taken out of the equation. That's great, which also contributes to the death. So if he can be a little bit more careful out there on the battlefield, he will most definitely be a feared player out there on the battlefield, man. But speaking of Broke Boys Club, looking at the prize pool, if they can take this all the way, they're not going to be broke for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, probably a change name will be happening. Rich Boys Club, that might be happening, or Rich Kids Club. I don't know what will be up next, but what's up next right now in the battle is the maps and modes. Hardpoint, or we have R&D taking out Hacienda and Purifier, and the Broke Boys Club in here taking out Standoff and Annihilator. And the first match will be Slums on Hardpoint, Search and Destroy for Summit, and Control in Raid. Now, Slums, this is we don't see this so often in Hardpoint because of how the rotations are, but I guess with how it has been chosen in this map, I was just surprised by R&D. They could have taken Takeoff in this, or they could have chosen Takeoff in there because of how close it was. But Slums right now, this might be a good opportunity for Broke Boys Club to take a lead, because so far they had 2 wins against 2 squads in Control, and Hardpoint might be a little bit similar in terms of result because of they need to focus on respawns and their rotation. The
last time we played this by the dictation of R&D as they won that coin toss. So this time it's a little bit different as the Broke Boys Club get to dictate the hardpoint as well as control matchup. And we can see that R&D just prefers to play this summit match on the S&D. I mean, we saw how they did against EZR yesterday. It was an almost victory where Malik hit those 14 kills. It was phenomenal to see them in performance. They almost took it away. But you know, Easy Reborn just made it look so easy to shut them down. Held them to a match point, pushed it into overtime, and then sneaked the match away from them. So hopefully today it's going to be a little bit different. Once again, Malik has been activated, man. After that one matchup against Broke Boys Club where they kind of started the whole group stage on, Malik has been on point in all of these SNDs. But of course, we have to wait for the second match. For that, for the time being, it's gonna be a slums matchup between the two. Who you got your money on from the very start of things? Yeah.
I want to go for the underdogs, those who want to get up. So it's those guys who are broke right now.
Dude, if you're talking about an underdog, it's gonna be R&D. What you talking about, my man?
I'm talking about cash, man. I'm talking about cash. I mean, it's hard to be broke.
It's hard to be broke. Speaking of which, if they actually make it to the playoffs, I think Ninong Rain has to come in here and sponsor them. You know, Rich Kids has to pick up the Broke Boys Club and make them into a bunch of really, really rich kids. I think that'll be the most epic thing to happen to the Broke Boys Club if they can prove themselves in here and make it up there. I mean, I personally will drop Rain a message and say, hey, I think there's a team that's waiting for you.
Why not? I mean, there's a good chance for them. I know there's a lot of talks on the personalities in this matchup, but not so much in the gameplay because R&D is not getting a few points, and this might be a full hard point for Broke Boys Club. But as mentioned, the time that I mentioned that is R&D getting the scrap points, and it's not so much though, but it's a good thing that they're still focusing in getting on the hard point. One has been taken down by 7 in there using that Freddy, and 7 right now prepared to take that stairs to take anyone who gets in.
Yeah, everything's going the way of Broke Boys Club, and they mainly just released the final 10 points because they wanted to set up this P2, right? Taking over the Special Forces base is just so important because it allows you to spawn just right beside Ghetto, and that just allows you to just send in multiple personalities into that hard point. And look at this, man. They've not controlled 1 but 2 spawns at the same time. They've taken over Broken as well as the Special Forces base, but just one mistake of hopping on into the hill from Broken has given away that spawn to R&D, who now stands a better chance of flooding this hill. And as I say that, they managed to break it just for a couple of seconds. Now they do have the manpower. If you do not have the Special Forces base, you have to force the spawn out of Broken. I don't know if this was intentional, but R&D is doing the right thing right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, ideation is good. It's just that 7 is in there standing in those arches, Special Forces base as well, and just waiting for everyone. That is the usual rotation, the anticipation, everyone rotating to that area. And 7, if I'm not mistaken, was able to take down 3 or 4 out of R&D. But as we head on to P3 right now with only 1 second, good intention in that initial rotation, but with the pinch that will be done by Broke Boys Club, especially with operators right now, 7 will not be 7, probably an 8 or 10 by the end of this day.
Oh, this guy is just absolutely cracking it, right? 17 kills already, and he is not slowing down at all. Still has got one of those score streaks to work around with in a little bit as well, and 7 is just superly on fire. Broke Boys Club, on the other hand, they have managed to just take their hands off of the hill for just a couple of seconds, but on the way to take it right back, Malik says hell no, gets a double kill, and this guy, it wasn't on fire earlier on, but he's getting those right kills, buys enough time for R&D to circle on back, and the Broke Boys Club, they have got the spawns, but it is R&D running this hill.
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain point that I love hearing your voice calling out a certain individual or a certain team. Because earlier you called out Malik, and Malik did what you want them to do. And hopefully that will be done so far, not just by Malik, but also the other players of R&D. They have the motivation already coming from the Mustachio AJ himself, but 7 is just breaking them one at a time. The timer has already started, and they're crossing that century mark, and everyone else from Broke Boys Club right now is just clubbing in onto that garage and just waiting, rotating again, especially with 7. I mean, this is just a guy who threatens R&D for every approach that they go into.
I love the timely maneuver for R&D to smash this hill together as a squad, but they're making a fundamental mistake here, Neptune. They haven't taken away the spawns from Fountain just yet. Yeah. They are holding a little bit too long, and they get punished exactly in the right way for it. But look at this, Gods of RNG, they just gave them the spawn out of nowhere. Broke Boys Club went anchoring it down, and R&D, they get the advantage. Final 10 seconds for R&D off of a mistake from the Broke Boys Club. Gods of RNG says they deserve it, but look at this, man. They just abandoned it. You could have just left one guy to take the scraps.
Yeah, that's one thing. Like, you've given that chance already. RNG gods are in there giving you a split spawn, and like not even like 1 second is important in here because of how close it's see it might be that easy for R&D, especially with how much luck they're getting in those spawns, but they need to do that effort. They need to do that work right now because the statue is being opened up and being closed down by Broke Boys Club, and there's an opportunity for R&D to push through. It's just that they're losing all the gatekeeping that is being done by the Broke Boys Club.
And now they are just scrambling for points as they circle around. It's going to be Tokyo that has the big play, but Young Jay prevents it. He tried to wrap around, make sure he's got the flank around the boys on the Broke Boys side, and that was just absolutely thwarted by Young Jay. 77 to 132. And look at this once again, Broke Boys Club releasing the hard point in the final 10 seconds to hold on to the spawns. But R&D says, we've got the exact same idea. Spawny, come to daddy, and they take it away. And it's gonna be the game of R&D if they can hold on to Broken as well as the Special Forces base. What a play we've got on our hands, nephew.
Yeah, but the thing is, hopefully they get an idea. This guy number 5 just moved into the hill, and there you have it, the hole in the spawn, and Tokyo just took down 3. This might be the turnaround that we're looking for R&D this time, and Tokyo also win as Sparrow, unfortunately taken by Jello. They understand the gameplay right now, and they want to take advantage of the spawns. As you can see, moving back right now is Israel. He is becoming anchor in this matchup, in this hill, and this is a good opportunity for them to get the 3 or 25 more points to get close on a 134 that Broke Boys Club had.
Dude, I've got so much of respect for R&D after that break, man. They are playing this to the T. And I mean, you're talking about a bunch of guys who are very new to the scene, taking on a bunch of veterans who have been doing this for a long time. They are outplaying them, they are outclassing them, but of course the Broke Boys Club are still in front. Imagine all of those scrap points that R&D let go of earlier. It could be what makes the difference in this match towards the very end. But this is an early rotation coming from R&D once again. They've outclassed Broke Boys Club yet again. They've got the Fountain's Hole. They've got 3 players playing the objective as well. This is going to be an all-out gun battle that they need to win, but Z-Man shows up. Young Jay says, give me that hill right back. They still have the spawn though, but here comes the Gravity Vortex to spoil their fun.
Yeah, we have a good rotation coming from this guy number 3 right now, and like this is, I'm not seeing the names right there, but good rotation on him, a backstab possibility for him, but unfortunate they weren't able to hold on to that C3. But the spawns right now is one thing that is important. They started off with 2 guys in there, and that would be, well, when we do in comparison in terms of mechanical skills and how can you hold the spawn, 2 guys on the spawn is good enough so that the rest will be able to get back unlimited as you count down on those hills. Getting close right now on those lanes as well as on the point. It is getting too close for comfort for the Broke Boys Club.
And this time they do not waste any time. They pick up every single scrap and they leave so little between themselves as well as the Broke Boys Club. They also had a good hold onto the spawns, but unfortunately they just dropped the ball for a single second before the hill got opened up. Broke Boys Club took away that spawn from them at the fountains and are forcing R&D now to scramble. And this is a big mistake being made by the couple of R&D players because they're rushing in for the hill without waiting for that backup. That's an absolute no-no. And this spawn right out of Broken, they can go in for the flank. Freddy takes out 2 players. That slows down the push coming through from the R&D squad yet again. Broke Boys Club doing everything, playing into the T. But look at player number 5, Uni, wrapping around, KRM in hand. Can he get it? He gets the spawn for R&D. Oh my lord, R&D really taking the fight out to the Broke Boys Club. What a matchup to really kick off our day and bring the energy to where it's supposed to be, Neptune.
Exactly, we're loving the energy right here because of how well R&D is putting up in play. Yes, Broke Boys Club is still on the lead, but how they were able to close the gap between them is something different from what we expected. So it's 200 already for Broke Boys Club. It might be a different story later on, but it's an open spawn on that PR, open hill on that P1. It might be going to different favors. More of how they can control the spawn from P2 later on, and we've seen that R&D do that well. So I guess they can capitalize on that already, but as you can see, as early as now, it's still 45 seconds. We have a few from Broke Boys Club rotating right into P2, and I'm not quite sure what the ideation is in there, but I guess they just want to go and pinch everyone as they step into the hill. And as you can see, there's a couple of seconds in there that it has been opened up because of rotation from both teams.
Hunter Killer Drone going out for the prowl. Will it find a player? Yes, it does. Finds Freezy running straight into it. Statues takes him out of the equation. 90 more seconds to go. R&D too early, bro. Way too early for a rotation to hold on to the spawns of P2. And they just give away so much of solid points to the Broke Boys Club. You cannot do that. That is a severe mistake that is going to get punished by the Broke Boys Club. Now, they're picking up all of the scraps. They're raking in the points. All they need to do is just have one solid break on the hill, and it's game over already. R&D better take 60 points from here, or I'm going to be super mad, Neptune.
Yeah, but the thing is, they're not controlling spawns. They're not anchoring the special forces, and that is what they might be missing later on. Yes, they have the firepower as the rest of Broke Boys Club will be moving in. They were able to clean that up, but it's a little bit too late as 3 guys is already on that spawn. But no! There goes the turnaround. Spawn has been controlled, and it might be R&D who will be catching up. 37 seconds remaining, and as you can see in position on the minimap, they have great advantage, but they are being taken one by one, especially with 7 right there in the front.
Forgiven. That's a really good play coming out of R&D. They held it to the T, but of course, Broke Boys Club, they managed to gather up their players and rush on in together. They also had the spawn out of the Special Forces base with a very good wraparound, and they managed to punish R&D. A few more seconds now to close off the game. R&D playing for their lives. They take back the hill. Final 7 seconds. They cannot afford to lose this. Player number 2 loses it with a backstab though, but the game is not over just yet. R&D, they have gotten the spawn at Fountains. Do they get it? Player number 3, Audience, you better win it, and he does win it. They've got the spawn, but look at this. The players of Broke Boys Club hopping on it, one after the other, getting slayed, and the gods of RNG still gives R&D the spawn out of Fountain. This just needs to be a masterful haul, and they can win the game, Neptune. They need all the points. They cannot allow the Broke Boys Club in.
Yeah, if in case they will be able to control this hill. 3 guys, 4 guys already in there. Only 1, but Young Jay takes him down, and with that 1 second, that was 1 second needed for the Broke Boys Club. I guess they're sweating as well, similar to what we're feeling right now because of the energy as well as how well the gameplay is this time for R&D. But GG's WP for both of these teams. I love how RNG is playing this time around against the Broke Boys Club.
That final point all goes to Young Jay and his masterful use of the claw. He didn't even need to spot the player, and Game Sense just told him exactly where this player is going to be hiding, bounces the claw shot off of the wall, gets the player behind the wall where he shouldn't be able to access with a regular gun, and that's what you call using your freaking operator skills down to the T. But look at 7 picking up 59 kills coming through from the Broke Boys Club. But I have to say, R&D put up a phenomenal fight, but there were just fundamental mistakes that they were making, which I'm so sore about. I mean, they've got the fighting skills, they've got the gun skills to take the really good matchup against Broke Boys Club, but they just didn't commit enough for some of these hills. I mean, rotating 20 seconds early, that's way too early. And if you look at the Broke Boys Club, they were so consistent. 10 seconds to go, that rotation happens. 10 seconds to go, they let it go. I mean, you know, 10 seconds of points is not going to mean much to the Broke Boys Club since they've already got such a good lead, but it should mean the world to R&D who are trying to chase them. So that was where they just freaking lost the match for me, man. R&D had such a solid chance.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I would say there's a saying, but I'm not calling R&D as beggars, but beggars can be choosers. You don't have to choose like big points against the small points that you can get from the scraps. And that is one thing that they need to think as they're precious at some point. And even for Broke Boys Club, they're treating it, even with 1 guy, 2 guy, they are staying in on to that rotation, especially if they're off rotation and or they have a good advantage later on, and then they can take advantage of the scrap point. Even from those spawning from a farther side, can get a few more seconds into those onto those scrap points. But there you have it, 230, 223 and 250 on this team favoring Broke Boys Club. I was sweating in there because how well the gameplays are this time, as well as a huge chance for R&D to take over the game. It just so happened that the Broke Boys Club did it a little bit better.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, if those mistakes were not there, this would have been a very close matchup. In fact, it could have even been a victory. I want to hope for R&D, but there were just so many great things being done by the Broke Boys Club. There was just so much of knowledge stored within the players, individual skills playing their part. And once again, we have to highlight Young Jay and that claw play towards the very end, because R&D, they were on fire. They were hyped up. They knew that, you know, push came to shove, and now they were at the very edge of this cliff and they were about to fall off. So no matter what, they just had to win that hill. And they were doing a great job, Neptune. They were keeping the boys out of the hill. Broke Boys Club really had to try, and it took that operator skill. Without that operator, things would have most definitely been different. A lot of people are giving Male a hard time for not really, you know, doing much within that hardpoint matchup, but Male is not your respawn guy. Male is the guy that steps on in for the S&Ds and does a freaking great job. It's usually Tokyo that steps up for the side of R&D in these respawns. So, you know, I'm not going to hold it against Male. This is the point where if Male doesn't shine, I'm going to hold it against it.
But as we can see, it's Tokyo getting that first blood, but Young Jay responds with a double and 7 for the third. And there you have it. As quickly as that, they just lined up and has been taken down. First point goes to Broke Boys Club this time, but R&D again still has Malik and even Tokyo to their side. Earlier, we've seen how well Tokyo is doing in terms of slaying power, and this is where he can put it into play, especially in those close quarter. But it's more of the first blood that needs to be done right here, and then followed up by the team.
Young Jay, very annoying sniper to deal with. Beautiful shot as I say that. Uni gets taken out of the equation. And Young Jay quickly repositions the moment he gets that kill. He doesn't want to aggress on. But look at Freezy as well as Josh. They are going out for the all-out push. Freezy spots the player, but it's just ring around the rosy for him. Tokyo does get taken out of the competition because Z-Man steps on up with CBR4 as well. Malik goes down as the final player as Josh hits that headshot. Broke Boys Club are forgetting that they are on the defense. They're playing this like the best offensive team.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, from that hard point, they understand that, like, rotation-wise as well as strategy, basics needs to be broken. And I guess that's what Broke Boys Club is doing right now. They know that they're in defense. They need to break the rotation of R&D. Thus, they are putting a lot of pressure so that they will not have the time, and even the time to against their favor when that bomb has been dropped. And as you can see, Freezy right now going in on the rotation a little bit early in this control with only one left. We have in here Tokyo, who will not be getting that rising sun. He will be setting from that final fight.
Absolutely, man. Shout out to Cisco, who is in the YouTube chat. Hopefully I see this team of SKADI make it through to the playoffs, because I haven't shoutcasted a single match for them. How disappointing, Neptune.
I'm pretty sure have that time later on, and well, I mean,
I better have that chance, man, because if he clunks out of nowhere, then I don't get to scream his name at all. That'll be the saddest thing for Garena Masters Season 4. Mustachio not screaming out Cisco's name.
Well, the thing is, would Cisco like, just in case doesn't do well in a fight, would Cisco like to be called out by the Musashi? And I guess either way. Again, I mentioned that earlier. If you've been called out, it's a chance for a player to do better. And speaking of doing better, R&D really needs to do better this time, because they haven't taken a point just yet, and they're the ones dictating the pace.
But I'll just have to tell you, right? The problem here with Cisco is I love the guy. And with people that I really love, I usually tease a lot as well. So if he does badly in the match...
Double.
If he does badly in the match, you know what's coming, man. Uri, fantastic. Takes out Young Jay with a KRF. One shot, one kill. Can he get another one? 7 says hell to the no. Drops him down like he's hot. Bomb still in the hands of Oddheads as R&D tries to rotate around. Tokyo shuts down Freezy. This is the first round where R&D has got the upper hand.
Yeah, and it is a 4v3 situation right now. Tokyo needs not to be aggressive, just need to have a good rotation. Even the plan needs to happen, but with a standby being done by Josh, and Josh has been taken down. Oh no, Z-Man has been taken down, and there goes the plan. And it's now a 1v3 situation against Josh. On the snipes, it's not that easy, AJ.
Let's see if or not things can get a little bit easier for him as he rotates around. It's a 1v3. Quite a lot to ask from Josh. He is not the main sniper, but, you know, he's quite fancy on the sniper himself. Ooh! Young Jay, on the other hand, always manages to shine. But as I say that, Josh shuts down Male. But as he rotates around, Oddhead's right behind the wall. They're just waiting for this defusal. So good play on the side of R&D. And Josh says hell to the no. But Tokyo says get the out of here. Kicks him out of the field. That's a corner kick. But R&D will take it.
Yeah, the thing is, like, with that jump that Josh did, that will throw off your focus on your crosshair against Tokyo. Thus, he missed that shot. But just in case he didn't jump, just get from that from the top, he might be able to bring it to the 1v1. But it's 1 point against 4 that BBC already have, and R&D just needs to put in a lot more of pressure. But they are feeling it this time, especially with 7 on that double.
Yeah, Uni manages to punish, but then they get turned on instantaneously. Freezy, good tags onto him, but no finisher coming through. Freezy, too bad, brother. And the shot onto Malik was just sick. Ezreal trades him out. 7 is there to kick Ezreal off of the field once again. I tell you, if you do not have the skin, you are losing out on life, all right? That is the best animation ever.
Actually, there's no need for a body shot right there. The kick itself says a lot.
The kick is the body shot, dude. Oh, 7, what a sick double nade. And this just god nades all around for the first 3 kills. Uni responds by taking out Young J. Freezy shuts one down. 7 follows it up. R&D, they're just getting trolled right now. Onyx finds one, but Josh kicks him off of the battlefield. Someone better be sponsoring the skin for a lot of the people in the chat right now, because they freaking won it, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, I even won it. So hopefully
Cisco's there. Maybe Cisco wants to do a giveaway. That's a lot to ask for, but maybe Cisco wins.
Cisco, everyone's knocking on your door right now. You open up. You need to open up. But those who are opening up, the chance for the win is Broke Boys Club. They are on the match point already, and they are the ones who are on the attack. It's not like they're not attacking earlier, but based on how we've seen R&D play, they are just learning the ropes as well on the rotation. So they might be a defender team who can balancing it off, but it's just 1 point right now that the Broke Boys Club need, and they will be getting that win.
And this pretty much confirms my theory. Whenever Malik does not step up for that S&D, the chances of them winning just drastically goes down, right? But then again, R&D has just been absolutely horrible at Search and Destroys. They've not managed to win a single S&D matchup so far within the group stage, and this will just add on to the pain. They've got a 100% lose rate on S&Ds. That's a little sad.
Well, again, we've raised that already, that rookies just right there, though they are, like, most of the rookies right there are so well in Search and Destroy because of the amount of practice they have. And I would say, even for those who are like aspiring to go in tournaments just like this, they focus more of S&D, wherein they need to focus on respawns as well. But it's just that some of the teams have the same idea. Broke Boys Club, I think they started the same way, so they are a little bit better in terms of mechanical skills and like their experience in tournaments just like this. Broke Boys Club, new name, but the players not so new.
I mean, I'm no pro. I mean, I suck to like the maximum degree in Call of Duty Mobile, but I have been blessed with the opportunity to watch many pro plays and many pro players play out this beautiful game. And if there's one thing that I know is the fact that R&D, they can match up to the gun skills of Broke Boys Club. That was proven in the hardpoint matchup, but you don't see it being reflected in this S&D matchup in itself, mainly because they're just playing into the hands of Broke Boys. Broke Boys are rushing, Broke Boys are playing it slow. They keep the pace just continuously confusing for the side of R&D. But R&D, on the other hand, they just need to realize that the Broke Boys Club are overconfident. And all they need to do is just hold on to specific angles. That pre-aim should just be there, and you punish them for all of their rushes. But that just did not happen. This is just ego challenge after ego challenge, where you see R&D rushing into that battle and just getting the floor wiped with their faces. Broke Boys Club about to be really rich really soon.
Yeah, I mean, looking forward to that. And I guess it shows as well on the final instance. I know that Broke Boys Club already win, but on a 2v2, there's a huge chance that R&D could have gotten that round win, but they just are rushing things. And it's just the patience Broke Boys Club has, as well as anticipation of the rotation that will be done and can be done by R&D. Thus, they can take it slow when needed and not so much like even aggressive later on or earlier on from that defensive side. But as we look right now on the standing, it is Zeman right now who's popping off. 7 is close behind, as well as Young Jay in the middle, and Freezy and Josh in there with 7. On the right hand side, it's all of 5s right there for Israel, Tokyo, and Uni. And as you mentioned, Malik is not doing his best at this point, thus it reduces that opportunity for our ND to take that win.
Yeah, I guess Malik's like me. He's just a late riser. Maybe he's still half asleep. Maybe he's got one eye closed when he's playing the matchup. I understand, Malik. I'm half asleep myself as well. I gotta have my shot of coffee. Maybe you want to try some caffeine. I don't know. That's bad advice. Do not touch coffee. It's poison. You'll get addicted just like the mustachio. I mean, but you know, at a certain point, we need to see Malik step up, and you know, the team definitely needs it. R&D may not be in a position to make it through to the playoffs one shot clearly through, but the least they can do is just help out EZR. You know, one of the underdogs in the competition, to rip away that number 2 spot from the side of the Broke Boys Club and allow EZR to make it through. But I don't know if R&D is feeling that kind today.
Yeah, I mean, RNG right now, I think like they will be thinking about themselves first, taking a win. And the thing is, like, it's hitting 2 birds with 1 stone. If just in case RND will be able to pull that through, because how it's going on to the standings right now between Broke Boys Club and EZR, it's getting too close for comfort. Even if EZR has a more matches played, the lineup that they have moving forward can balance it off later on, and they just need Broke Boys Club to lose 1 and even win 1 against a Broke Boys Club. So though we're talking about EZR, it's more of how it will result in this match of RND against a Broke Boys Club.
Yeah. You know, I actually wanted to share something with you, Neptune. I forgot to tell you before the broadcast. The fact that I'm actually very, very happy today. I'm very excited because I've had this t-shirt for more than a year, but I've never worn it because I have been 2 sizes too big for this t-shirt. Now, I've been losing weight rapidly recently, and I can finally fit in it. Look, there's even space.
Well, I guess it's a reverse. Like, it's a reverse for me because you're losing weight, I'm gaining weight. I don't know. I don't know what's up with this. Not quite sure if anyone is seeing here, but the double chin is showing right there. It's just that I have a longer neck. That's why it's not so evident.
Sometimes you're blessed with a longer neck to just block it out, man. Good on you. Life must be good. 30-30. 2 lives lost straight up from the side of the Broke Boys Club. Tokyo manages to shut down Freezy. He gets turned on by Young Jay. It's just a little bit of a back and forth from both sides, but R&D making good headway here as they push on up deep.
They need to keep that position right now so that they can cut off the approach. As you can see, it is still no capture from either side. But when it comes to lives, R&D is putting a lot of pressure on to Broke Boys Club. They need to continue this on and then probably bait them into 1 point and 1 side later on. And we'll have to see on how that rotation goes. Bravo is being captured by 2 and 1 standing by on other side. Only 1 is going for the contention. It's not looking good for R&D.
It's not looking good at all as the Broke Boys Club managed to sneak away this control point. Just 1 objective player. And that is unforgivable if you're R&D. You need to rotate around, but instead they are playing around with player number 3 towards the Special Forces base spawn at Gardens. That is maybe a little bit of a need to reprioritize some of their objectives here, but R&D just wants to hunker down and protect their A side. Let's see how this one goes.
Yeah, so far it's Broke Boys Club with a 2 lives lead right now. Bravo has been captured. They can be funneled in onto that alpha approach, and it is just 7 who is turning it to their favor. Even if they have a chance to lower down the lives of Broke Boys Club, they will not be able to do it. And there you have it. I mean, there's just a slay after slay right now, and the trap has been triggered. Even with that guy number 5, it's not turning the spawns.
Sanggala, this is a torturous spawn trap. They're just bullying the players of R&D right now. No, don't shoot the wall. He hasn't even spawned yet. The guy is not spawning because he's been alive hiding at the swimming pool for 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's just unfortunate. There is
Oh my.
this guy in there, number 5, who might have flipped the spawn, but like the trap has been triggered in there in perfect timing. If they're not waiting, like they're waiting for more to spawn that area, thus it is gearing towards that spawn. It's no flipping being done by RND, but it is what it is. It's Broke Boys Club understanding the game a little bit better and putting it to their advantage.
You know, I hope Activision is listening, or I hope someone just takes this to Activision. I don't mind Control being in competitive, but the least that we can have in Control is for the spawn point to not be static. You know, if you've got a dynamic spawn point, at the very least, we are not going to see torturous moments like that, man. Because, dude, you just spawn out. Or at the very least, just give them a little bit of invincibility when they spawn out for 5 or 6 seconds so that they can do something. Like, something.
Yeah, I mean, it can be done. Like, we have team deathmatch wherein you spawn sporadically. I would say sporadically, and then you have the front line as well, where you can be invincible for a few seconds. But I guess it's just that switching of the spawns that can already change the game and make it a little bit more balanced. I'm not saying that's already balanced, but from the get-go, defensive is already like favored in this match, and it's not that, like, it's more of making those slight adjustments to balance everything out.
Yeah, I mean, Control can be a fantastic mode. Unfortunately, right now, it's just not a fantastic mode. These adjustments need to be brought in. Either you have that dynamic spawn point, or you have that invincibility thrown in for the static spawn point. I mean, one of the two can make a world of difference. But Broke Boys Club aren't complaining. They're like, easy win, let's go. We want a 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at a 3-0 right now, and even in defensive, R&D is losing all those gunfights. They have an opportunity. We are waiting for that one win in here so that they can maintain it a 3-1. But I guess with Broke Boys Club, like improvement after improvement, what you want to do is be better than you are previously, and this is them already showing us. If they can get this on a 3-0, then they're one step a little bit further to that goal that they have to be on the top.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's just gonna be about the gunfights. I mean, people may argue, like, you know, if you're really good with your gunfights, you're never gonna get spawn trapped, bro. But it's still very difficult, you know. That A control point is snatched away. It's just like taking candy from a baby. They barely lose any. They lost 1 life. 1 life taking away that A control point. This is illegal, Neptune. I think the Broke Boys Club need to be thrown into jail for that one. And now a 6-life deficit for R&D as they try to hold. You know, this is one of the reasons why I am just not I'm not a fan of big maps like this played for Control. Because you've just got so many entry points, and you just cannot defend the site unless you're a team like ALMGHTY, Smart Omega, where each player can take down 2 or 3 players and still sustain his defensive spot, right? And it's just torturous to see some of the teams out there. But Broke Boys Club, you know, once again, they really don't care. They just want to take this backstab. But look at player number 3, Audits trying to clear off that second quadrant of the defense and avoiding the shots out of Jello as well. That's a great play. But now Jello turning around. Do they want to go in for the spawn trap? No, they still want to focus down and just win the objective this time out. I like the Broke Boys Club. They're just giving themselves a little bit of extra challenge before they can win this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not that they're not getting the challenge. I like the point out your wording, extra challenge, because they want to have a little bit more in here, learn a little bit more based on how R&D will be responding, but R&D is really not responding well. Down with 4 lives already, and it's a huge deficit in terms of lives. Tokyo still managing to get a couple, but I guess it's a little bit too late with Young J in there just clearing it out. 1 left for this team, and there goes the 3-0. Broke Boys Club, broke R&D in here before they have been let go out of from the factory.
Yeah, they broke them into so many small pieces. I don't even know how we're going to patch up R&D right back, man. I mean, it's like Humpty Dumpty. He fell off, and now we can't put him back together.
Well, we have a couple of kings right here, so hopefully they have King's Man that they can Well, we have the 4S Kings and the WPM Lowkings. So
I don't know if they want to help out their opponents, bro. One can hope. One can wish for it, right? Freezy takes the MVP. 21 kills. The guy was on a rip earlier on. R&D, unfortunately, just couldn't make their way around. Male just scoring those 9 kills. He's on a double negative. Unfortunately for him, only Tokyo really managed to step up to the plate. Everybody else was just getting eaten up one after the other by the Broke Boys Club. And the Broke Boys Club will they'll literally take this anytime, any day, all the way through.
yeah, I mean, waiting for that, like another map win from R&D all throughout the series. But unfortunate for us, it's just on that day number 2 that they were able to take advantage of. Yeah. I would say the initial part wherein Broke Boys Club don't know the rotation for R&D just yet. Now, once they understood that, they got it already in the first round or first match of the series. And not only that, even a search and destroy and on that control, not even giving out one round. So it's more of what adjustment, what improvement a team has to offer. Though we saw a little bit of improvement for R&D, a little bit of excitement from R&D right there against Broke Boys Club, but it died down towards that search and destroy, even in the control mode. So hopefully stamina in terms of motivation can also be considered by teams who wants to join in on Garena Masters.
Absolutely, man. But of course, I want to say good try to R&D, but it seemed like there wasn't much of a well put together strategy on this control matchup. And could it be that they gave up a little bit too early? I don't know, because you see, the Broke Boys Club, they executed that spawn trap so phenomenally well in that first round. The second and third round, they were like, okay, you know what? Let's not bully. Let's just play the objective instead. So good on them. I respect the Broke Boys Club for that. But R&D, they didn't take much advantage at all. In terms of playing the objective, it was just way too shaky for me. And hopefully we do see a little bit of a difference from R&D the next time they do step up to the plate. But that's going to be quite a lot to ask for, because it's got to be SKADI cats running around the battlefield going up against them. And that's going to be torturous, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's one reason why Cisco is in their comment section watching the game as well, because like they know they scouting. Yeah, they want to find out what's in store for them in the next match, and that's what I love about teams who really wants it, like who's hungry. Yeah. They look into the matches, even if they're not playing, so that they can learn a little bit more. And hopefully this is not a chance for them to underestimate their opponent, but again, to learn more of your opponents, upcoming opponents, and how well they're doing against like matches before them. So we look into the highlights right now, but I like to congratulate Broke Boys Club at this point. And not only that, I like to see more of R&D improve even further later on.
Absolutely, man. I mean, you congratulate them. I want to congratulate Sauce the Awesome from YouTube, because he has managed to get everybody's attention. But I just want to say this, man. Awesome people don't call themselves awesome. That's all I want to say, Sauce the Awesome.
Yeah. Let other people call you awesome because of what you do and say. So hopefully that will be the like hopefully like the next reply that he gets has too awesome in it, and it's you're awesome.
So everybody's giving him the attention that he most definitely wants in the chat, and I think the boys just having a good time right now. Don't have too much of fun though, Sauce the Awesome. Someone might just take you up on that 1v1 offer. This guy's saying that, you know, he's the best in chat, but clearly he just wants to play with someone. I like that about him. He's just so in love with Call of Duty Mobile that he just wants to have a one-on-one with someone, right? It is my true wish that someone grants him that wish and just takes him on in a matchup, just for the fun of it. Maybe Cisco will. Cisco, do you dare though?
Callie's there as well in the comment section, so Callie might put one on him as well. I don't know.
There's free content right there, man. You take all of the YouTube comments, you just re-scroll, you just take some screenshots, you know, you just record it a little bit, and then you go 1v1 with him and show the world how awesome the Sauce is. But of course, speaking about awesome, we have to talk about Seven, who had phenomenal plays, especially in that final round. He's just, I mean, the IQ plays out of this guy were just phenomenal. He knows his positioning. He knows exactly how to take the attacks, which is the main reason why he's averaging 29 kills per match, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean 29 kills, though the deaths is a little high, but with his KD ratio, I mean 2.23, not a lot is in there, especially on an MVP round. It's only, I want to point out how many, but it's only a few can get, only five or six who can get two above in terms of the KD ratio at this point. So 7 has done that already from the hard point, even on that control map, and like a lot of improvement coming to the skid.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And of course, that's exactly what we want to see out there for all of these teams. Broke Boys Club, the last time they stepped on in, they lost by literally 3 points to R&D in that hardpoint matchup. This time round, I guess revenge is sweet. Not only do they get to annihilate them, they also manage to have a few moments of laughter in this matchup against them. So I guess it's a all-out win for the Broke Boys Club this time round, Neptune.
Yeah, I mean, like again, looking forward to them to change their name and not being broke anymore. Like, because broke can be different things. Like you can be broke in money, and you can be heartbroken. Yeah, especially with the Valentine's already over. So at some point, like after that day, a lot of people has been happy for the 14th and then broken afterwards. So hopefully that's not the case, because there's a change in name in there that happened as well. For the
single forever boys, you say. We're trolling the Broke Boys Club right now. Single forever, it's okay, boys. You know, you're still young. Eventually, you will find someone who will be willing to love you. Just kidding. Phenomenal job done. Broke Boys Club, they started this whole thing off with that easier domination 3-0, and now they step on in and they do the exact same to R&D. The Broke Boys have pretty much secured their playoff spot already. Hopefully, EZR will be able to have some sort of a response to this whole situation and try to redeem themselves the next time they meet up, at the very least, so that they can prove exactly how much they've improved throughout this whole journey.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's one thing that we're looking forward to, improvement of teams, players as well. And like, even if there are some players out here who's not doing that well, hopefully they will stay with the team, because from what we've seen so far, composition of the team, though there are roster changes, it has been happening even with the top dogs, they're already in the level that they're free to make a few adjustments, and for those starting up, like, they can stay for longest time and then improve together as well.
Here's the thing, Neptune. I want to continue that storyline with you, but we've got a pop quiz on the line. Let's go. More giveaways for everyone. I believe it's going to be for the Bombero Crate once again. Which player in the previous match has the highest average kills? These pop quizzes are so easy. I'm upset I can't join it.
The thing is, it will be insulting if they won't be able to answer it, because it's been shown, we've been talking about, we're targeting 2 means already, 2 channels already. So hopefully everyone is in there that's not focusing on the comment section, but also focusing on us and the broadcast as well.
I mean, Sauce is having a great day, man, because everybody's literally focused on him right now. Everybody's thinking like, okay, who's going to be the bait? Who's going to take this 1v1? Apparently nobody.
Well, I'm not seeing anyone in there as well.
Cisco just asked, no Hawaiian shirt today, Mustachio. No, bro. I'm all out Call of Duty Mobile. I mean, I think Cisco kind of missed the comment about my t-shirt. I'm excited, Cisco, because I've been fat, okay? I've been a little overweight, and I haven't been able to fit in this t-shirt. I got this t-shirt more than a year ago, and today's the first time I actually put it on, and I realized, like, wait a minute. I lost enough weight for this t-shirt. I'm happy. I'm not slim. I'm not thin by any chance. I'm still overweight. But to be able to fit in this t-shirt makes me happy, because now I get to wear this logo, bro.
Like, I don't know if I don't know if I can like disclose this, but I'm going to put a little bit on you, AJ. He's so excited to wear the shirt. He sent me a message and he'll be wearing a shirt. So I had I wore the shirt as well. It's a good thing that I have one though. Otherwise, I'll be wearing, like, I will be wearing a jacket, and you know how hot it is this time of year. So I will be sweating.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome, Neptune. You're most definitely welcome. Now we t-shirt boys. Yeah. All right, we're waiting for an opportunity to speak to one of the broke boys. I want to obviously ask them, first of all, why are they broke? But hopefully, you know, they'll turn that around into something positive.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing. Like, this is just one step for them. The reason for them being broke would be another. So hopefully it's a good start for them as well. But I guess the interview session will be happening. And AJ, I want to throw it off to you first because like when mentioned, I might have some problem with the audio. So you can carry over with the first question right there.
No problem, brother. Not a problem at all. So let's see exactly who we've got from the side of Broke Boys Club, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It is going to be, drum roll, please, the one and only young... we've got Josh. Josh, please don't mind my reaction, man. I'm just as excited to speak to you. Welcome. Congratulations on your win. Tell me, how does it feel to be able to dominate your group within... Okay, I mean, except SKADI. To dominate your group apart from SKADI within the Garena Masters Season 4?
It feels good because
winning is fun.
Our scrims, yes, winning is fun, and our practice seem to pay off well. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah. I mean, it's good that the practices are paying off. Talk to me a little bit, because I think the answer to this question will help out the aspiring pro players out there. What sort of practice are we talking about to go out there and dominate in this fashion, to have such good chemistry, to have such good communication? How much of practice goes into this?
I think about 8 hours of practice, because once a day we scrim, we mappings, and VOD reviews about our matches. Yes.
Sorry, I want to just clarify in case I heard that wrong. Did you say 8 hours of practice every day?
Yes, about that much, because we play ranked games as well to practice our aim and chemistry.
I respect you, and I respect your whole squad. Neptune, since you're back, brother, one question from you.
Yeah, I mean, I know Broke Boys Club has a lot of struggles as well from the early parts, but this time that you're winning these games and you'll be moving in a little bit higher into this rankings, you have EZR who might be able to take you down there on how close it is later on. What's your tactics against them, and what's your comment on or to EZR Esports?
Good luck, guys, and enjoy the game. Be prepared.
Clearly, they need some luck against the Broke Boys Club, man. Okay, you know what, Neptune, before we let him go, right?
Yeah.
Just one final question. Do you guys think you'll still be broke by the end of this competition, or you're going to be very rich with the prize pool?
No, we will not be broke.
That's the way. Thank you so much, Josh. You guys rock. Congratulations on your win, and hopefully we see you guys at the playoffs.
All right. Thank you.
I mean, it's so fun speaking to these guys, man. I mean, but come on, Neptune.
Yeah.
8 hours of practice every single day. I mean, that's what I'm talking about, man. I mean, this is why I love the Filipinos. This is why I love the Filipino teams. And people keep asking me on my broadcast, right? Like, Mustachio, you know, why don't you pay a little bit more attention to some of these Malaysian teams, you know, spur them on? I've tried, but, you know, most of them don't even have time to jump in for a team meeting or to even scrim. And then you look at these guys, 8 hours, and I'm blown away, man.
Yeah, that's one thing. Like, if you really want to get a lot more in this, is you need to like think of it as a profession. And 8 hours is like, though it's less compared to the 9-hour job, but it's a lot more already in terms of playing a specific game and enhancing your skills. So 8 hours and even more, you can get a lot more of improvement right there. And this might be a good chance for you to exceed a lot more in terms of they might not be broke anymore because of what they're putting out in here.
The salary is solid, man. At the end of the day, if you can achieve it, the salary is super solid. But of course, in order to get to a little bit more solid state, we want to take a quick short break, grab a little bit of a bite. But when we come back, it's going to be Kazoku Legacy taking on the Huntsmen.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show, and this is still Call of Duty Mobile Garena Masters Season 4 Resurgence. So far, we are off to the last two series of this day. Earlier, we've seen how Broke Boys Club as well as RND fought it off, and it is Broke Boys Club who went victorious. Now we're going to find out who will be on to the next matchup. This is the Huntsmen going against Kazoku Legacy, but on the caster's desk, I am Neptune, the gentleman Garcia. Together with me is the one and only Mustachio AJ.
Kazoku Legacy, they haven't had the best of runs so far. Huntsmen, on the other end, they are, as Huntsmen always are. The only unfortunate thing for Huntsmen is Blacklist International Ultimate just happens to be in the exact same grouping.
Yeah.
They weren't able to show up in two of those matches, but when it came to Control, we saw the true Huntsmen just reappear for a few moments in there, right? They really pushed Blacklist all the way to the end. So I think that's the litmus test for Huntsmen as to how they bounce back. Against Kazoku Legacy, I am not expecting Huntsmen to struggle all that too much, but I want to see exactly how much can Kazoku really push the boundaries against them this time around.
Exactly. I mean, that's what we love to see, the improvement of the team. Though the score lines is like, it's not that slim in terms of lead from all the matches that they played against the Huntsmen, but it's more of how they change it later on. But let's check out today's schedule. So as we all know, or for those just jumping in, first match didn't happen on the broadcast because SHUSHHH didn't show up. Broke Boys Club won 3-0 against RND, and the next would be the Huntsmen going against Kazoku Legacy. But going back to the Huntsmen, their consistency, and even with our interview with Zen previously, I love their excitement on the upcoming matches. They're excited, and I guess that's one thing that you want to love about the energy that's showing up in this Huntsman lineup right here. But let's check out the lineup of Kazoku Legacy, who will be going against the Huntsman. We have DNA, Michi, Taib, Clay Howe, and Sin. This is the lineup of Kazoku Legacy, and as so far, they need to move up a little bit further on, push it to gear so that they can put 1 point on that Huntsman record.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. And of course, every single time they step on out there, it is a challenge for Kazoku Legacy. We saw how they were able to sneak away a match from the side of DIVINUS. That was at, of course, takeoff hardpoint. But apart from that, even DIVINUS, they managed to find that victory over Kazoku Legacy, which would have been a little heartbreaking for the team that has been around the scene for quite a while. DIVINUS, on the other hand, just made it here. And I think that would have just potentially broken a little bit of their confidence. And then, of course, that kind of trickled into facing Blacklist International Ultimate back-to-back, which would have been torturous for Kazoku Legacy. But hopefully they don't really hold on to those bitter tastes in their mouth. But of course, look forward to an opportunity to shut down the main team of Malaysia in itself. Wanlu, Wadu, Derb, Zen, Concept, as well as Alfari. They step it up for the squad this time round, representing the Huntsmen.
Yeah, I love how they are improving over time, and even with Concept being added in there, I mean, there's a lot of changes that has been happening, not only in the gameplay but also in the attitude of the players. So that is what we want to see even further, because the more confident they are in the matches, the more happy they are in the matches. Even if they're taking L's at some point, especially with top dogs, they are still in there like focus and enjoying the game, and there's not so much of pressure. But let's check out a head-to-head between these two teams, and I won't be surprised if we have Derp in there, and there have it. Derp will be in there, 25 on average kill against the 19.33. That is so much. Even in the KD ratio, that's 2.5, one of the 6, I would say 7 already on our list on that above 2 on the KD ratio. And Clay Howe right now 1.12. It says a lot in here, not just by one player but also how it performs or how it trickles to the rest of the team.
And of course, if you look at Derp, it's always going to be phenomenal performance from this guy, the leader who leads through example. 25 average kills is no joke out there at all, but it's just the part where he does manage to struggle a little bit is when it comes to sustaining his life out there on the battlefield. Clay Howe is much more efficient at that, but of course Derp, he makes it up for his KD ratio overall, right? You can't just take the numbers from the average kills as well as average deaths, because what happens in each and every single game most definitely matters. A 2.5 KD ratio makes this guy quite a monstrous player to go up against.
Exactly, and I love how he's pulling out the SKS as well, how adjustment is trickling, like on their run in this Garena Masters, it's showing that they are also in sync with what's happening with the world stage. Thus, they're applying all those tactics to their gameplay. And this is one thing about the Huntsmen. They evolve, though it's not so much that they really stood up high against top dogs of competitions, but they evolve slowly and they are on a good run to be in the top at some point. Their consistency of being part of Garena Masters and even other competitions bring them good opportunity to learn even more.
And of course, as we take a look here, it seems like it will be the Huntsmen who win that coin toss and dictate the pace up of this upcoming match. And they ban Hacienda off of the list. Summit gets banned by Kazoku Legacy. Standoff and firing range will be the picks by the Huntsman squad for hardpoint as well as control. Now, we know that they are most comfortable on these two maps, but the last time we saw them enter into this firing range control, it's been quite a while. So far, they've only been stuck onto Raid, and I think after facing that loss against Blacklist International Ultimate, although they do fairly well on Raid control, they just didn't want to play it this time around.
Yeah, and well, it's still good that we are seeing them in a different story. Firing range is well for the Huntsmen on that search and destroy, and that's against the same team, Kazoku Legacy, even DIVINUS. So their understanding of the map is already in there, and it's more of them like showing in a different map so that they more advantage for them to learn even further, and that's what I love to see in this matchup right now. And firing range, I would say this is good advantage as well, because for Kazoku Legacy, they played 3 maps and didn't have any win just yet, and like what you mentioned, they only have one that is in takeoff against DIVINUS. So the odds are really in favor of the Huntsman. I just want them to change that a little bit, even for one map.
But of course, I also think that Huntsmen are being quite smart with this, right? Because they mainly picked that firing range control, I think, after watching how Blacklist International Ultimate took apart Kazoku Legacy yesterday. And if that is the case here, it is just very smart of them. Deb manages to take one down, instantaneously traded out, means nothing in a hardpoint matchup, but the rest of his players are hopping on into the kill. And look at such a aggressive hold coming through from the Malaysian team. They're just trying to hold on to the outskirts, just playing one objective player, but that's not going to be enough because we've got a aggressive Kazoku Legacy who desperately wants some points for themselves.
Yeah, they really want some points for themselves, and I guess this is a Huntsman right now clearing out the area so that they have a chance to like push them or spawn them into one side. But I guess this is the response of Kazoku Legacy right now, clearing up that 3-1 and even taking a few more. And with the position that we have from Kazoku Legacy, this is a good improvement from them. One player in front and the rest is just focusing. Even with that pretty Sen takes down 2, 1 is still left behind. They take the lead this time.
Yep, fantastic use of that Freddy. 25-18. Kazoku Legacy making a lot of noise. Final few seconds will be sneaked away by them, but an early setup coming through from the Huntsman 4P2. And now this is going to be quite the challenge as they try to travel on around. It is going to be a good hole at the warehouse, especially at the gas station. But Type does manage to shut down Van Loo, only to be traded out. Great plays coming through. Type hops on in, but the guy is taken out by a god nade out of nowhere, Neptune.
Yeah, I love the approach of Kazoku Legacy in there. They just lined up, slowly moving into the warehouse and then clearing it. It's just unfortunate that only one left and the spawns was not controlled at that point. But if in case they will be surviving a little bit further, a little bit more, then they can control of the spawns. This time, it's a little bit balanced between these two. It is just back and forth on the points, and I love how Kazoku Legacy is turning around this time because they have the lead and also opportunity to go and break the spawns later on, because Huntsman only has 1 or 2 guys in there on to the next point.
As long as Kazoku can keep this up, beating down the Huntsman isn't going to be a challenge for themselves at all, because they are late to the party, they are late to the hard point all the time, but they are winning it solid towards the very end at the very least, and of course they take those points away. Type tried to take that fight up against Alfari, but the CBR4 just a little bit too hard to take down. Sin moving on straight in to take away the spawns from Huntsmen, but the response is too solid. Huntsmen, they win it out. They keep the spawn to their side, and they flood the hill. Great play by the Huntsmen to catch up with Kazoku now.
Yeah, just in case the frontliners of the Huntsman has been taken out, we have Sten in here, Viewer Fire, who can clean that up easy. So it's more of plan against plan, and that is what the Huntsman is showing this time. Banlu will be going in for that play from the window and has to wait for an opportunity. I was surprised a little bit. I thought that was from Kazoku Legacy, who just jumped in from the window right there. But they have a chance right now. 75 on the points with 15 seconds remaining, and Kazoku Legacy is nowhere to be found on P3.
Yep, 82 to 56. Kazoku Legacy slowly losing the plot here as Huntsmen continue to push on into Words Bakery. They are already picking up the scraps from a house, and that early setup onto Bakery is only going to punish Kazoku Legacy even further. It's all about how Kazoku now handles this money hill, because if you can hold on to that great defense at Bakery using that second floor, especially to clear out all of the attack that comes forth from the Special Forces Avenue, you are going to be the biggest winner. But it is the Huntsman that runs this place for the time being. But look at this pincer maneuver, Neptune.
Oh yeah, I mean, that was an opportunity for them, and it's a good rotation coming from Derp. And it's no surprise that it's Zen and Derp who's taking that second floor, because they have great familiarity on how to position themselves. They are snipers of the team, and they have good game sense in positioning themselves on the opening from either the window or the door on this side of the Bakery. And they will be taking a few more of points, making the lead huge against Kazoku Legacy, but with only 15 seconds remaining, it will be shortened, or it will be a smaller this time, as everyone else will be rotating a little bit early, even controlling the spawn. But Kazoku Legacy is not giving up that easily. They want to go for the early rotation, even controlling on those scrap points. This is good on them if they want to catch up.
123 to 77 now, Kazoku Legacy. They are running out of time to catch right back up, but it's not all over just yet. They do have yet another chance. Spawning out of Special Forces Avenue, but player number 1, it is the one and only Captain Derp that shuts down their spawns and pushes them to spawn out of the back of the hill against the players of Huntsmen. From the guerrilla base now, Kazoku Legacy being spread out all over the map, but it is player after player just falling to the Huntsmen squad. Zen just holding onto the hill as the objective player, and he continues to take down player after player who tries to attempt for his hill. This is just beautiful to watch Huntsmen dance around the hill like this.
Yeah, I mean, Zen holding their solo while backup is coming in, and that is just working well for them. And Alfari, unfortunately, will not be able to contest that hill, and they still have 15 seconds in there. Plus, I guess it is a good plan for Zen to let go of that Freddy, but it will not put in a lot of pressure because it's only one being taken down. Still, Kazoku Legacy taking the scrap points. Early rotation, though, being taken by the Huntsman right now. The 52 or 53 point lead might give them that leeway for them to hang back a little bit, not put in so much of aggressiveness in this fight, because at some point Kazoku Legacy is improving in terms of
Yep, 159 to 99. Kazoku Legacy wasn't able to take it earlier on, but now with 50 seconds to go, they might be able to hold on the warehouse, but they have to win 2 important gunfights. Player number 4 circles around, but Type only managed to secure 1. Van Lu sorts out Michi. Clayhow taken down by Alfari, and this is just an all-around win for Huntsmen once again. The players are locking down each and every single angle, but gas station has been left open. Opportunity for Clayhow. He steps up with the claw. Can he get the shot? And the player just avoids it, and the claw still manages to get the bounce off of the wall. Clayhow, playmaker this time around for Warehouse.
I would say the claw is a great addition, because so far from all that we've seen, it's more of a one-sided, and the claw gives you great advantage of corners that you cannot reach. We've seen that earlier in the matchup in the previous series, and this time also in this matchup. So it really changes the game of anticipation of where positioning will be happening in spawn modes or in respawn modes, just like this, and just taking over a hill without stepping in onto those points.
Dep and Alfari trying to make that play for the Huntsmen. And it is going to be Alfari that really manages to pop off a type, slides it out of nowhere, and rips the hill right back. 40 seconds to go. The players do have the spawns. It's going to be absolutely essential for Sin to win out all of his gunfights. Has got the switchblade in hand. It's all about how he manages to hold on to the spawn for the rest of the Kazoku Legacy players. Can he do it? Yes, he can. Type manages to take one, take two as well, and brings in the Freddy for a double. And he actually hits a triple on that slay. But it is just a opportunity that Huntsman will be able to use to just track down all the way to its bakery, because this is just a no-go for House. But player number 2, he still goes in for the attempt though. Zen, he's not giving up just yet. Finally forced off of the hill. Kazoku Legacy stepping up to the plate to make sure Huntsman doesn't run away with this game.
Yeah, but when we look at the positioning being taken by the Huntsman right now, one on the roam and one on the side towards a warehouse shortcut, and also 3 on to bakery. So this position, I think, unless it has been it will be broken by the claw, might be a little too sound for the Huntsman right here. Mitchie from the second floor just cleared it up, and there you have it. I mean, they have a good intention in defending it. Just Mitchie went in for a second floor, and you mentioned how important it is to take that hit.
Yep, Zen and Derp, Alfari, Wadu, everybody doing their part. 190 to 163. 30 seconds to go. Bakery just still needs to be held onto. And Huntsman, they get the job done. DNA tries those wall bangs, but he gives away his position. Everybody expects him. That pre-aim was more than enough to sort them out. And now it's just all-out annihilation from the rest. SKS in the hands of Derp is just absolutely lethal. By the way, he's playing it. 164 now for the side of Kazoku Legacy. They need to catch up, but the only way they can do this is to rip away everything from Hotel Yard. But we know who's the master of Hotel Yard, the one and only Zen.
Zen right now in there, even from the second floor, even from the side hill, will be able to clear up, and they're stepping in there solo. It's just Clay How takes him down. Not only Clay How, 2 other members from Kazoku Legacy. They understand how Zen is positioning himself, and he gets cover on all the corners. And with that, clearing out the rest with Wadu and Zen being taken down. Once again, 4 guys is needed to make sure no one gets in. A good chance for Kazoku Legacy to catch up with the points of the Huntsmen.
And Zen wants to break all records today, already at 50 kills, but can he continuously pick up all of those slays before this match is over? He needs to tell the Huntsman to slow down, but slowing down only means that Kazoku Legacy can't catch up. Alfari with the double. He just burns down these players, or shall I say freeze them out of that Purifier H2O. Zen doesn't get a shot, still held up onto that 50 kills. I mean, this is the problem, and once you get so excited, you just don't know what to do with your fingers.
Well, hopefully we'll get a lot more. I think the record is 59 from what we've seen earlier, and if he hits that 60, then he will be able to break it, but there's no breaking that final moment from Kazoku Legacy. They have to go in the warehouse right now. It's getting too close for comfort though. It's more of how the Huntsman was able to maintain a little bit of 20-point lead in here all over those hills that they passed through, but with Kazoku Legacy starting it off on the warehouse, it might be a chance for them to catch up. It's more of how they wait for everyone else before they go in for the approach. Otherwise, they will be taken or might be taken down one at a time.
Yep, Zen finally manages to break away from the 50 kills, but only gets 1 before getting traded out. And now as he spawns back and hops into the warehouse, he just gets eaten up alive. Zen still stuck on the 51. Can he take down player number 1? Opportunity presents itself, but Sin says, hell no, you're not breaking any record today. And in fact, we are going to take this game. Look at Kazoku Legacy. They have got the lead now, but it's a super challenge coming through with the Huntsman. Hunter Killer rolled out of DNA, and he slays Zen where he stands. Zen on the 53 though, trying to break those records, but Kazoku Legacy fighting their way into the match, trying to win this game, and they're just a few inches away from doing that.
Yeah, 7 seconds remaining in here for Kazoku Legacy, and they have good control of the spawns as well. But Huntsman is already in there and was able to pull everyone into this area. Now, it's more of the Huntsman to hold and not let go of this hill. Otherwise, Kazoku Legacy will take it against them. And from the previous point, we've seen, I think that was a 40 or 50. But Zen clears out 3 and 4 once again. They won to beat that record and also beat the score.
I mean, that was a last-ditch effort coming through from the Huntsmen. They knew exactly what was creeping up on them. It was Kazoku Legacy, and they didn't like the sight of that. ALMGHTY, the guy just literally gets up. And he's just like doing some stretches behind that green screen. You know, he's just so mad. He's just so annoyed. But all of this pent-up energy needs to be let go. And good on Huntsman for finally managing to creep right back up. And Zen woke up. I mean, what was that? 3-4 kills in a row? He was on fire towards the end.
Exactly. I mean, he reached that 60. We asked for that, and he was able to do it. Not so much on a hill time because he was busy slaying out there, but it was left in there for Vanlu, Wadu, and ALMGHTY. And I would say still props to Kazoku Legacy because how they managed to catch onto that point and also ended a little bit closer in their 7 points difference. It's just that they were cut short or cut to that 243 wherein if in case their approach onto that warehouse so a little bit too early or a little bit too sound, they could have ended right there.
I mean, at the end of the day, Zen was just that hard carry for the team this time around when it came to the slays, but it is not the be-all and end-all of it. One might think that, oh dude, Wanlu, he was such a bad acquisition, only 25 kills, but look at the time that he managed to grab on that hill beside Wadu as well. Both of these boys were playing that hill, playing multiple hills furiously, picking up all of those well-needed points, and if it wasn't for these two down at the bottom, this victory couldn't have been possible because they did a lot of the heavy lifting earlier on. Zen just made sure he played his part in terms of slaying, and he was really, really good at playing that part.
Exactly, and that's why there's distribution in terms of your role, and it's just so awesome to see some of the players out here in Call of Duty Mobile to really do both. You can slay as well as hold a hill, but for the Huntsmen, they understand the role that they have to take. We have Zen in here who's just going and slaying, clearing out the area so that Wadu and Vanlu will be able to step into the hill a little bit safer and just focus on the entry points. And that is a little bit, a few things that I guess the COD community understand, but those who are just new and just looks into numbers, well, it's a good insight for you to understand a team a little bit better. But there goes the first map of the series. It will be taken by the Huntsmen.
And, you know, I love the Huntsmen, but if they really want to dominate the competition, they can't keep fluctuating from a really solid team to a team that kind of allows Kazoku Legacy themselves to catch up 243 to 250, right? Towards the very end. I mean, and I think the ending of that match shows exactly what sort of a team that Huntsman is, and I don't like it. The team that waits for themselves to be pushed towards the very end of this ledge where they know that, okay, if we don't do it right here, right now, we're gonna lose. And then they find it out of nowhere. They can always get the slaying done. They can always pick up those points. But, you know, hopefully that confidence is there a little bit more in a solid way earlier in the match. Consistently all throughout. And I think that is going to be a world of difference for them. And they've proven they've got the skills to do exactly that, Neptune.
Exactly. I mean, they did that already in the early part of that hard point. It's just it died down a little bit. Probably they have, like Kazoku Legacy had a little bit of motivation on their side. But with what we've seen so far, the trade-off is gearing towards Kazoku Legacy taking a little bit more against the Huntsman. It's just that the Huntsman got a little bit more of like headway in that match, and then as you mentioned, they found it toward the latter part. So, and that's one thing that both teams need to focus on and understand later on. Right now, the focus is on search and destroy. No first blood just yet. More of like this is a stalemate at this point from both teams.
It is gonna be type now. So Wallbank's not going to deliver much to him, but he's got the ideation. He knows exactly what he wants out of this, and he's getting so close.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that we love and don't love to see, but there goes I finally taking on Zen. And I guess the opening in there on that slide might bring in the rest of the gang. Push through Sin, it will be able to go in for the slay as well as Clay. How about a trade off back and forth? It is now left to ALMGHTY, who's still doing well, and it's just a 1v2 situation, and we have a split coming in from Kazoku Legacy.
And it is just gonna be Kazoku Legacy picking up that solid round Question is, can we see consistency out of this team? Huntsmen, they dropped the ball towards the very end there. But in an S&D matchup, that's exactly what you do expect for teams who initially take the L to turn things around. So good on Kazoku Legacy. They just need to make that play all over again with the bomb. And I like the patience of not pushing through, trying to look for that plant straight up.
Exactly. I mean, one thing that I've noticed, like in initial parts of competitions just like this, they wait for 1 minute before they make a move, even smaller instances for them, because it's unexpected by a team to make that move late into the game. Thus, it is being taken advantage by some teams, and Kazoku Legacy might be one of those teams. And that's one thing that the Huntsmen really don't want to fall into, being surprised and being taken down one at a time on the final moment. When you think you have a good defense, then you just rush in and ALMGHTY takes Taib down, but we have Michi on the other side who takes down Wadu.
Yeah, 1-0 Kazoku Legacy, they have got the advantage here and they can play for time, but a 1-to-1 trade, they've lost their sniper. Thankfully DNA still alive and kicking, and as I say his name, Zen gets taken out. Fantastic shot. Kazoku Legacy stepping up to the plate, leaving Derp all alone, but you cannot count this guy out just yet. Might be able to strike though. Question is, how quickly can he get this sorted out? 1v4 is no joke, but that SKS might just be the secret weapon they're looking for.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage power in here. It's more of him getting good position and also not be doubled down here a little bit too deep. But there goes Cian just on a corner, making that sin of waiting. But there's no choice really. Once you have that advantage of manpower, you can just position yourselves and anticipate where the opponent will be coming in.
2-0 now. Huntsmen, they are not dropping the ball. It's just that it's just not working out for them. Those connections are just not clicking. A little bit too aggressive perhaps on the defense. And Kazoku Legacy is playing this to the T. I mean, just allowing their long-range players to just play for picks initially before even pushing on. Derp finds Clayhow. Wadu and Van Lu though traded out. Michi and DNA steps up for the team. Clayhow doesn't need to do much. Michi got tagged up. No finisher coming through from the side of Huntsmen, and they still played patiently. You gotta love and you gotta respect this form of Kazoku Legacy.
Yeah, I mean, Kazoku Legacy is not falling a trap of taking that first blood or initial kill and then being pulled in towards that direction. They just want to get information first before they get a good hold of the situation, and that's where it goes in for standstill. DNA in there with the pick of the shoulder takes down ALMGHTY, and it is now a 2v3.
Yeah, I mean, that response time was just way too sweet. Derp now finds one, finds two, triggered discipline initially, takes down the second player, third player as well. Fantastic, but the first player behind the wall turns around in time to shut down Derp, but Zen is there with a secondary to finish it off, and Huntsmen claim one round back. That's the kind of rounds you want to see, and Derp still leading with example. That triggered discipline, allowing that first player to run through, though, was the exact player that undid his play.
Yeah, I mean, if in case you see more than one opponent, then that patience gameplay will work. And also the communication in there, having sent his back, because at some point, if you takes down two, we saw that earlier, you will be heading off because you don't want to be catch off guard with an SMG. So that's where Sen came in and take down the final guy. But I think Huntsman needs to put a little bit more because it's a 3v4 situation, and DNA still has a chance to take that ALMGHTY. And there you go. 2v5 situation. Good response and trade off by Van Lu.
Yeah, tight angle held by Van Lu, but so quickly that information is flowed right back through. Sin finds him. Clayhow finishes it off. Kazoku Legacy one-upping Huntsman once again. I mean, can you even believe what's happening here?
I mean, at some point, this is one thing expected, because if they're spending that time in practicing, especially in ranked games, Search and Destroy is one of them, and they want to take that advantage already, because Respawn, there is sound plan or sound tactics that you can utilize in Respawn mode, but it's still dynamic, that it depends on the situation of spawns and everything else. This time, Search and Destroy is just focused on you're in the defend. You need to anticipate where they will be rotating onto the attack and vice versa. So there's a little bit more of a concrete plan for Search and Destroy. Thus, Kazoku Legacy just worked on that.
Kazoku Legacy, once again, playing things slow, playing for picks before they get aggressive, and it is a little too outward in terms of a push, and they get punished for it. I think you stick to what works, right? Kazoku Legacy did not need to do that at all, and they get punished for a play of impatience, thinking that they could just rush in and change the pace up. I think the pace that was working was that slow movement, just forcing Huntsmen to get nervous with the positions that they were holding. The moment they stepped on up, they got eaten up alive.
And I love how slow Huntsman is going for after the initial trade.
Nice
they
rotation.
are pulling back right now, and a good backstab against DNA. Then there goes a 1v2 situation. Van Lu in there for the backup. Even with that initial frag, snipers will not be able to do that much, especially in a two-man against you.
Yeah, and I love that from the side of Huntsmen, right? They're not playing it callously like how they used to. We see them playing that buddy system. They stick together, they rotate around, looking for that final player. And even if we were to find a plant in that round, you know, it would have still been on the side of Huntsmen. Derp gets a double this time round. Kazoku Legacy letting go a little bit of that momentum. Alfari shuts down DNA. It's a 3v2. Still the advantage onto the side of Huntsmen. Wadu on the hunt. Can he get it? CBR4 fails, and it is that Switchblade that wins out on it. And Van Lu manages to trade out Sin. Type opportunity, but Van Lu says, this is the end. We are making our comeback.
Yeah, I mean, Type right there is one guy that you can depend on a 1v2. It's just that Van Lu got a jump on him, literally. And when he just jumped on him and shoot him down. And it is now tied in here on a 3-3. And attackers is a Huntsman at this point. And they need to put in that careful gameplay as well. Like, they need to slow down a little bit, because as we can see, the movement of Kazoku Legacy is a little bit too aggressive on this defense.
See if or not the Huntsman can. Oh, come on, Derp. Derp's just on a roll right now. 8 kills. And we were talking about this SKS. And people might have just lost a little bit of confidence in Derp in those initial few rounds. But it is all about just holding steady with your strategy and just not giving it up at all, right? This time round, with the attack on the side of Huntsman, it's a good plan. 1v2, DNA is forced out of his corner. 30 seconds to make a play here. Let's see if he can find those quick scopes.
Yeah, quick scope is one thing he needs to do. Not only quick scope, good getaway as well, because we've seen earlier how a 1v2 can change it. Yes, you might be able to get one slay, but if you don't get away that quickly, you will not be able to survive. There goes the 50 G's being pulled out, but from the side, Van Lu just took it now with a CBR. And 4-3 is the score right now in favor of the Huntsmen.
This is a solid comeback from the Huntsmen. And this is what you expect out of the most supreme Malaysian team representing MY. But let's see if they can take this all the way. Van Lu 7 kills already, trying to look for a god name. Does it connect? DNA shuts down Zen though. It's going to be painful for the team from the get-go. Derp already in position, finds one player, does not pull the trigger in time. And yes, he does manage to black Clayhow. And Clayhow just didn't see that coming. Initial tag does manage to get traded. And Wadu with the triple just punishes the players of Kazoku Legacy.
It was Wadu who really turned this around.
Yeah.
And Sin right now will be trying to go for the rotate. I love the buddy system that you pointed out earlier. There's one thing with a backstab against Derp in there. Sin will be going for the slay, and Wadu with his 4 in this round. I would say Wadu is on fire at this point.
Wadu's most definitely on fire, and it looks like just absolutely nothing can stop him from dominating. 5-3 now. And what a turnaround we see from the Malaysian team. Huntsmen, this is where, you know, perseverance truly pays off, right? And they didn't change up their strategy at all. It's just Kazoku Legacy making these mistakes out of nowhere. It's kind of forcing the case. Wadu Derp, they strike once again. Huntsmen, they've awoken. Kazoku Legacy, they better start playing things slow once again.
Yeah, I mean, Zen in there with that jump and a hit against a Type. It's now left to DNA, but I think that DNA will be spliced that easily, especially with a 3-man from the Huntsman. And once you go for the hunt, you're not just going in for the head. You want to go for that atomic level, and DNA might be in there peeking a little bit, and it surprised me, but I guess it surprised one of the Huntsman even more. Zen right now trying to get away, even in a snipe that could be a good quick scope, but the buddy system is one thing that they're waiting for them to go for that kill. And Zen, I mean, I would say he backed off in there so that he can get back up later on.
Yep.
And that's just careful planning in there in the intense moment.
You have to respect the repositioning by Zen. And he obviously expected the player to show up from there, and he just read that play all out in the open. Match point for Huntsmen. Wadu opens things up with a double for himself. Make that a triple. Ooh. This guy, Wadu, out of nowhere, wants to sneak away the MVP title. Can he strike once again? Head glitch played, and he still manages to find type out of nowhere.
And like I was watching Wadu play in there. From 6 to 13, real quick. They get the win, and Wadu will be the MVP of that Search and Destroy. I mean, Wadu is some guy. It was a little bit too late, but I guess matching from how it has been traded off from both teams, it's just in time to finish up that match. Everyone did well. Even Kazoku Legacy did well. They just weren't able to maintain it towards the latter part.
I mean, Derp just managed to take that one kill. Or did Wadu score a ace in that final round? I think it was an ace, right?
It's mostly...
I know he got the first 3 kills and that final kill, but I just missed exactly who took the 4th one. But either way, Wadu, dude, this guy. He put the rip through Kazoku Legacy. And look at this, Kazoku DNA with 16 kills. I mean, they thought they were getting it done initially, but you cannot just have one player doing all of the heavy lifting. If you look on the side of Huntsmen, it was just a team play all throughout, and the strategy was just so sound. They were very disciplined. They were holding a straight line. And if you look at it from the flip side, Kazoku Legacy, they were doing the exact same thing, Neptune. But after the 3rd round there that they got the victory on, they started rushing in against the Huntsmen. And that's exactly when everything just broke down for Kazoku Legacy, and Huntsmen, they just took off.
Yeah, I mean, patience gameplay was working for Kazoku Legacy at that point, and it's more of turning it around for most of the trade-offs. That's what Kazoku Legacy was aiming for. And when when the side has been switched, like they were just rushing it. And that's one thing. You need to stick a plan, even on the attack or defense. Find a plan that works and then maintain it, like adjust it a little bit based on your position of the map or the position of your, like if you're an attacker or defense. But if Patience was just waiting for them or was just working for them, and it's responded well by the Huntsman. But once that mistake has been done by Kazoku Legacy, like the Huntsman just took advantage.
I mean, you know, I pity Kazoku Legacy because I think after that 3rd round win, they kind of just misplayed a couple of those rounds, and we just saw all of that initial hard work go down the drain. I mean, initially, it was just so patient. I think the solution for Huntsmen was do not engage them straight up. They've got way too much of supremacy when it comes to the quickness of taking down the opponents. I mean, you saw how Wadu was popping off. We know how Zen can really, really rip through your whole team. And of course, Derp and the SKS just dangerously lurking around each and every single corner. And they had the solution already. And to throw away that solution when nothing was actually going wrong just yet, it just bewilders me exactly as to why they would pick that strategy. But it is what it is. They've taken 2 L's now. They've lost the series, but there is still one more game mode that they can sustain a comeback here, and that's going to be Control.
Yeah, and Control right now, I mean, based on history, it's not looking good for the side of Kazoku Legacy. They didn't get a round win in here, but that's one thing that I love to see. At least get 1 or 2, balance it off. Because how, like, improvements overall is, it doesn't depend on the result, the final result. It's more of how well you do within the game. And if in case they can get a 2 to 3, favoring Huntsman, because the odds are really onto the Huntsman. But if they can get 2 to 3, their plan or what they're doing before jumping into this game is one thing that they need to continue overall.
Let's see if Kazoku Legacy can redeem themselves in this firing range. But the last time they did go into firing range Control, we saw Blacklist International Ultimate just wrap up the 3-0 super quick. Hopefully they learned a lot from that fight. Type and DNA, they open things up solid this time round as Kazoku Legacy starts off on a very solid defense, but nobody's holding onto that B side, which might just undo the plays. Clayhow going for the spawn trap, but one mistake made, he goes down, and this B control point is about to get sneaked away.
And we have water right now in here clearing the path so that it will be opened up and the first stick will be counted down. It will pull everyone in from both sides because the capture is being done as well on that alpha side. The focus will be distracted in there as Kazoku Legacy is going in for the slate and it's left for that Bravo to be captured. First stick will be going in the first few seconds and there you have it without any contention. Huntsman, that is Wadu, just stays in that Bravo. He might be able to complete that.
And it is Huntsman for a beautiful play. Wadu finally gets taken down, so the second quadrant can be cleared off. But nobody's protecting this A, though. Two players from the side of Huntsman already fully invested in here for the takeover. Van Loo protecting the door, whilst he has his objective player in the name of Zen, picking up all of that control. And he's looking at the other door. Here comes that final flush out of Kazoku Legacy. They managed to do it. And it is just a prevention of the third quadrant being taken away. But lives have been lost here, nephew.
Yeah, 8 lives in deficit. And Sin right now is trying to smaller that lead that the Huntsman has. Alpha is being captured overall, but it will be cleaned up once again. Now, either way, it might go in for the side of like either team because of how it's going on with defending and attacking, but they need to funnel. I would say for Kazoku Legacy, they can give out one of the point and funnel everyone in, and they will take advantage, especially with angle that they can take with the slays that they've been doing so far.
Wadu has easily been the best acquisition so far for the side of Huntsman. Even Crush wasn't making as big of an impact as Van Loo as well as Wadu. I mean, look at Wadu, man. The guy just rolling kill after kill after kill after kill, and he's really putting Huntsman up on top. And now Huntsman on the attack, but they don't even need to attack anymore. They just need to turn this into a team deathmatch. 8 versus 2. That's a little bit too much to handle. It is Wadu once again that shines. Can Wadu take that final kill, or will Alfari sneak it away? Type gets flashed halfway through, and it is Alfari that claims it.
Yeah, I'm really worried, not for this round, but for the next round wherein Wadu was able to invest a lot already in terms of utility. As you can see in there, like he has a 2 available and also an operator. So later on, once he gets in the corner or he's been pushed in the corner, then he'll be letting that go and it will dwindle the life of Kazoku Legacy later on. There goes Sturp right now with the claw. A little bit too early though with no visibility, especially with the smoke, and they will be going in for the trade-off, but Huntsman still taking the lead in terms. Oh, they have been taken back already. 2 has been down on to both of the lives, and Alpha is being taken by Kazoku Legacy.
1-0 so far. Huntsman up, but on the defense, Kazoku Legacy managed to have penetrated this A control point. Second quadrant sneaked away as well, and nobody's there for the defense. Huntsman a little bit slow, but I know they're taking a calculated move in here. They wanted that backup, and they have that backup now that they move in swiftly to prevent that full capture of that A site. So it's still a job well done, but they now need to pile on the men on this A site and send 2 over to B as well. And it's going to be player number 5, Alfari, holding it all on his own. CBR4, very aggressive position though, manages to shut down 2 players before getting taken out. Just buys a little bit of time for Huntsman.
A little bit of time right there, and 3 goes in for the backup, clearing that Bravo, and it's a reset right now, I would say, for the positioning of Kazoku Legacy, though they have advantage of that 2 ticks already, but in terms of live, they're losing it like Leaves, who is dying. Clayhow right now trying to push through onto that white warehouse, but will be taken down right there. Good position for them, but Kazoku Legacy is after for that 3rd tick.
Oh yeah, and of course, Kazoku Legacy now, as he whips things around, it is a very challenging moment because they don't really have the lives to sustain this attack anymore. There's 5 more lives, but we've seen miracles happen in control. Even in sticky situations, teams have made that comeback, but Huntsmen, they are just on a roll. 1 more life left. It's gonna be Sin. Only 6 kills in this matchup so far with the CBR4. Has got the claw to make something happen, but he's not gonna waste it this time round. Huntsmen 2-0 up. Kazoku Legacy now close to the very end of this ledge.
Yeah, and if you're on that situation being solo, you don't want Wadu in front of you, and Wadu's really on fire right now.
Yeah.
Like getting that momentum from Search and Destroy here already 17 in the slay, and not only that, Zen is also picking it up in terms of kill, and it's like that's one thing that you don't want to happen once you're against these two players. Not only that, with all the teams, because from all the players of the teams, because with the motivation that Zen and Wadu is offering, it carries over to the rest of the Huntsmen.
And it looks like Kazoku Legacy, they have got 4 of those operators. Now they go ahead and invest 2. They want to go for that spawn trap. They can't even get Van Loo out of his sidestepping. And finally, they do manage to trade one out. Zen steps up onto the top of the barracks hut, trades out the guy. 16 more lives left here for Kazoku Legacy. Things are looking dire for the team in blue.
Yeah, team in blue right now is scattered all throughout the map, and Alpha is slowly being taken. And let's see on what they can do in this matchup. Alpha right now going in onto that short path, but on that long area. Derp right now with the claw, just taking the last tick, and will be stepping out because there's not so much coverage once they go in onto that Bravo. But it is Kazoku Legacy who is playing up the middle of this map, pulling everyone in who's trying to go for the capture. And well, I have to see if it will be completed in time because there's only 35 seconds remaining.
A control point on the challenge, and Clay Howe tries to prevent it. Captain Derp gets shut down in the nick of time, and time shows up out of nowhere, but Alfari hops on in. Everybody's getting slain left, right, center, but the number of lives on the side of Kazoku Legacy, though, that's exactly what I'm concerned about here. 4 more lives to sustain, and now Huntsmen, they can just wrap around towards the B control point, warehouse number 4, and focus, but no, they want to take this gunfight head on.
Yeah, Alfari has a good ideation because they're not making that Alpha, and they are going for that Bravo, but with lives 2 to 5, it's team that match that is a little bit fast paced at this point. Bravo is going in for that second tick already, and Clay Howe is just maintaining it, and Zen takes him down there for the far end. They take a 3-0 this time. Not looking good really on the control mode, or I would say it's getting better in the control mode, and it shows not only this one but how they ended it up against the Blacklist International Ultimate.
Yeah, you gotta love the flexes out of Alfari, and you gotta love the gameplay out of Derp, especially in that matchup. But Wadu and Van Loo, they've been making so much of noise here for the team. Great acquisition for Huntsmen, and I think this setup might just be able to take it all the way through. But we did see once again how they performed against Blacklist International Ultimate. That is going to be the true test coming through for Huntsmen. But in the meantime, Zen picks up that MVP. Look at everybody just pick up their own weight and walk around out there on the battlefield, Neptune.
Exactly, and it's one thing how you can show up into the match, and not only showing up, also putting a little bit more into a team effort. It's just unfortunate that Kazoku Legacy have sound plan and like getting a point in here. It's just that the adjustment being done by Huntsman, whether they're on the attack or the defense, especially in the attack, because they're trying to break the situation where in control is defense oriented, and they are following it up after what we've seen in the world stage. Even other teams are applying that, even focusing more on the attack and not so much on the defense already.
And of course, as far as Kazoku Legacy is concerned, they did manage to get into the side a couple of times. They did try to sneak away those control points, but it was the recovery gameplay from Huntsmen that was just untouchable. And what I've been expecting out of the Huntsmen is to play this together as a squad. We have not seen that a lot from them in the past. They have tried to ego challenge one too many times, but this is a very different form of Huntsman that we are seeing out there. All of those challenges, they are taking their time, they're waiting for that backup, they're stepping into the challenge together in pairs as a trio, and it just seems to be the winning ace in the bag for them. 3-0, easy shutdown onto Kazoku Legacy, not just at control, but in the whole series.
Yeah, I mean, that's one adjustment really that we love to see, and we've seen so much on the other teams as well. Probably that's one reason why it's being applied, because if I'm not mistaken, one of the first team that's evident in doing that is ALMGHTY, and they've been successful overall. So it's one good gameplay in here that is being done by Huntsman. Earlier on Search and Destroy, we've seen that Zen really pulled out. He can go on a 1v1, but what if that fails? There's no backup. That's why he pulled out a little bit, and then later on move in onto that control mode wherein there's no rushing, like no definite rushing. They want to wait it out and get for backup.
Okay, I'm going to give a heads up because I know Huntsmen, they are tuning into the broadcast at the same time as they're playing out these matches as well. Now that the game has ended already, chat really wants to know exactly what the loadout is, exactly what the attachments are for Zen's Lapa. So hopefully the team hears me, and by the time we find someone to speak to on an interview segment, we'll have the answer waiting for us already, Neptune.
Yeah, we might be hearing it from Zen himself. So make sure that you're standing by in the broadcast. You don't want to miss that, because like Zen is this like cool guy. He is so comfortable. Like in every aspect. It's that he. I love one thing I love about him is he's always smiling, and there's a huge difference already from the side of Zen when he first joined the Huntsmen up until this moment, or I would say from the last interview that we had on him. So with this win, I guess there's a lot more of confidence and energy from him once again, if he's the guy that we're going to interview.
Yeah, I mean, even if we get someone else, we're probably just going to ask them because, you know, everybody's probably bunched up on Discord or something. But of course, Huntsmen had a great run in here. Kazoku Legacy, unlike the initial hardpoint matchup or those first 3 rounds of victory that they picked up in S&D, where they showed us that they can match up against the gunfight of the one and only Huntsmen, it just wasn't the case for Control. And Zen himself picks up the MVP of the game title. 30 average kills, 25 average deaths, but the KD ratio of 1.8 just tips him over the top. Look at the average score though, Neptune. One of the highest we've got in the competition for sure. 3,644. And this guy, I mean, you need to fear him out there on the battlefield. When he is in the zone, he is just ripping through everyone.
Exactly, and this is a 3rd win for the team and the first MVP, apart from the 2 that Derp has already taken out of the matches that they won. So, like, Zen really has that potential to be that good Slayer. Not only that, positioning wise, he gets back up just in time, and a lot of improvement, a lot of evolution, I would say, for the Huntsmen right here. And I love to see more. I like to see more, especially when they step in onto the playoffs.
Yeah, and of course, this is the last time Zen did manage to pick up the MVP of the game as well. I believe it was against Kazoku Legacy. So Kazoku just seems to be the secret sauce of success for Zen.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see. Hopefully it will be different for a different team. And I love Zen really, but Derp is there already. He is the leader, and he's already have that potential in so many aspects. Zen is getting that because of the energy that we're feeling from him and his feeling for the team. And I like the MVP status to be spread over the whole team, because it shows that it's not just a 1 guy or 2 guys who's improving and showing up for each matchup. We've seen Wadu in there already, and I really thought it was Wadu who will be taking that MVP, but it's still good that Zen is in there, and well, expecting a lot more from the Huntsmen.
I most definitely am expecting a lot more from this team. But of course, we've got the pop quiz ready for all of you guys, so I hope you are ready to answer some very few simple questions. Which gun is a new release in Season 2? A, the Lapa. B, Maddox. EM2 is C. And of course, D for Dingo. I don't know. I think it's the EM2. I don't know, Neptune. I don't play this game. This is too easy, guys. Come on.
One thing I would say is you will be out of your mind if you don't answer that. You'll be mad in your head if you won't be able to answer this. And for those of you who want to answer, there is a format down below. Put in the answer, your player ID. So you need to go in game and copy that, and the hashtag. So this is hashtag Popquiz2. This is for the 2nd of the day, and well, good luck to everyone who will be participating, especially in all the comment section that we have. AJ has been calling out a lot in the comment section, so give out a little bit of love as well in there, apart from the answer.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, Ready Bro has been very, very excited. And I think he will be very excited to know that Zen potentially might just be the one who is interviewed, looking at how he picked up the MVP of the game title. But of course, before we move on into that, if you guys want a little bit of a hint as to what the answer is, hop on onto Twitter, look up for Irfan J. Irfan J asked a question earlier today or yesterday, one of the two. The answer's in that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, hopefully you'll be able to get that answer for yourselves as we wait for the interview session. And I really love this format as well. While we're waiting, I'd like to point out I love this session as well because it's not just us that you're hearing. We're hearing straight from the mouth of the players what they've been doing, what they're expecting in upcoming matches, and like the personality itself for specific players. So like it's different personality that we've seen so far, even from the start up until the previous series that we've seen, and that's what I love to showcase in this matchup, because you just don't know a specific like player based on how they get all those lays. You will be finding out on how you hear from them and how they answer as well. Of the slayers on the battlefield will be as timid in the interview session.
Absolutely, man. Of course, without further ado, let's hop on over to the interview segment with a player from the Huntsmen. Who's it gonna be? You guys might be really happy to find out in a little bit.
All right.
Welcome, Vanlu, the newest addition to the squad. How are you?
Hello, guys. I'm doing good. I'm happy because we 3-0'd the KZ, like Kazoku.
Did you expect the 3-0 though?
Yeah. Honestly, we expected.
I respect the honesty. Okay, a quick question first. You might not be able to give me the answer straight up. Could you just double check with Derp? Sorry, not Derp. Could you just double check with Zen exactly what his Lapa loadout is, please?
Oh, I have to contact him. Hold on.
You guys are not on Discord? Okay, there you go. So that's the first question. You can give me the answer to that question a little bit later on. But Neptune, on to you.
Yeah, you gave us a little bit scare on that hard point earlier on. What was the challenge in there, as well as how you turned it around? Because it was only 7.7 seconds remaining for Kazoku Legacy to get that, but you turned it around to your favor.
Honestly, the P2, I like the point in the gas station. It's very hard for us to go in because they like stuck in the point, and they opened a lot of their operator skills, so it's difficult for us to break the point. And
fair enough.
The IGL, we rotated early for the next point, and we tried our best to like hold the P3 and like avoid them from coming to us.
Yeah.
And I think you guys did that phenomenally well towards the very end. And of course, Zen did manage to shine in the end as well, as he was slaying out left, right, center. You guys have managed to do pretty decently against DIVINUS as well as Kazoku Legacy, twice against Kazoku Legacy, but you did take a 3-0 loss against Blacklist International Ultimate. What are you doing to overcome the same team in the near future?
Blacklist, honestly, they're very good, but we have to beat them. You know, we're not contented that we can't beat them, so we're gonna prepare for these upcoming weeks to beat them.
Right.
Hopefully.
What have you done? Like, talk to me through the prep session though, because obviously you guys would have talked about this, like, oh my god, like, or was it just like they beat us, boohoo?
Honestly, we got surprised by our match against Blacklist last week, I think. We didn't expect that they're gonna be that so good. Yeah, and just surprised.
Okay, fair enough. So I'm guessing they will have the answer to how they're going to respond to this surprise when they do take on Blacklist a little bit later on. But of course, moving back to the first question that I asked, Van Loo, have you gotten that loadout for the chat? Because they're going crazy, man. They are demanding for this Lapa loadout.
Hold on.
Yeah, I don't think doesn't have that just yet.
Do we
Hopefully,
have much more
Zen-
time?
Well,
Hold on,
I
I'm
guess we can
calling-
make
I'm
time.
calling
We
Zen.
can make
AJ.
time. Yeah, we can definitely make time.
We have an update that I guess we can make time in there. So,
Yeah.
yeah, but those of you who aren't here, hanging back, if you want to really see or hear the loadout of Zen's Lapa, just make sure that you wait for Van Lu to get that and also wait it up in here on this session. But I'm really happy to see you improve, like especially for the whole Huntsman team while Van Lu is waiting. I mean, I love the improvement. Hopefully we'll get a definite on what like specific improvements, what are being done differently this time by the Huntsman, so that like other fans out there will be able to do that on their team. And like there's a lot of rookies really in this Garena Masters, so a lot more can be expected in the next season, especially on how these other teams or rookie teams are moving up one at a time.
Zen himself has already answered the question in the chat. He says his attachments are Agile Stock, the Titan Point 2 Ranger, Salvo 45, Firm Grip Tape, as well as the Agency Suppressor. Zen, you the man. Van Lu, I've got one final question for you, my man. As part of the Huntsman crew, you've just recently joined on alongside Wadu. What sort of a preparation regime do you guys go through? I mean, how often do you guys scrim? How often do you practice together as a squad?
When Wadu joined, we've been preparing decent. We scrim we try to scrim always daily, and especially Derp is happy also about the result of our team. We've been doing better than the previous team, honestly.
Fair enough. You guys most definitely are doing much better. But thank you very much for your time, Van Lu. We wish you guys success and, of course, the spot at the playoffs later on as well. Looking forward to seeing both you and Wadu provide a little bit more excitement to the side of Huntsmen and add on to all of their glory.
Yes. Thank you so much, guys.
Cheers. Thank you, Van Lu.
Thank you. All right. I mean, there you have it. I mean, at least the answer has been given to us, but there's there's a few more. Like, I don't know what's happening, AJ, but let's check out the schedule.
What's happening, and I don't like what's happening. Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, like me neither. This is the first time that we'll be jumping in here in the caster desk together, and we've already been missed out for the first one. But let's check out the schedule of today. So far, we've seen 2 matches right now. We have the standings right here, just an insight for everyone else on how it is on the top 2 for each group. So, and well, EZR's in there. A little bit of catch up needs to be done so that they can go in against SKADI and later on against Broke Boys Club. Huntsman has increased their lead against Divinus, and Smart Omega and Almighty, they're not moving at all. They didn't play it this time. For West Point Mamba Lowkings, they had that lead because of what happened to SHUSHHH earlier on.
But wait, look at this. Almighty seems to have played 5 matches instead of 4 matches. That's ridiculous. It's only because SR NACAGUE is not able to make it for the final matchup of the day. So it's a walkover victory for Almighty. Free 3 points in the bag. I don't think Almighty is going to complain, but I've got a lot of complaints. I was looking forward to seeing a match. I was looking forward to scream for both the teams, but I don't seem to be getting it. But, you know, whatever, man. Whatever. It's not about my happiness. It's all about SR NACAGUE and whether or not they want to play, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, one thing first, I don't want to repeat myself after that first call out already at the start of the show. But, I mean, hopefully everyone already heard that. And for those aspiring to be in here, Garena Masters, not only Garena Masters, but all the tournaments that we have for Call of Duty Mobile, there's a factor that you need to learn through experience, and losing at some point is one of the experience. I would say that's one of the best teacher that you can get, because within the game you'll be able to find out the energy as well as disappointment. I mean, at some point when there's a few disappointments, you feel it even further and you are motivated a little bit more compared to just watching it.
Yeah, and of course I don't think some teams understand exactly how gifted they are to be able to have a spot here on the group stage for Garena Masters Season 4. First of all, they earned it. Second of all, the broadcast time that they get, be it whether they're winning, be it whether they're losing, is still extremely valuable. And it's all about how you make the best use of it. But of course, you know, instead of lecturing them, let's move on and see exactly what we can expect for the rest of the days here, Neptune.
Yeah, well, we are looking forward to what's going to happen right now. Again, we are on day 8, and to day 9 will be happening tomorrow, same time, 11. So that will be happening on Saturdays and Sundays. And guys, that will be the last day for that week. It will be followed up by the 3rd of March for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So that will be the group stages, last weekend of the group stages. And hopefully everyone will be in here as well. Well, not just everyone, but everyone else who hasn't jumped in, especially with those fans whose teams are not playing today.
Absolutely, man. Tomorrow, of course, you guys will be joined by the deadly duo of Warden and Callie. The one thing that we do know is you will not be seeing Mustachio as well as Neptune tomorrow. So you guys have fun with them. It has been awesome casting with you once again after such a long time, Neptune. I missed you, man.
Yeah, that's why, like, we got shirts on. We've been talking. It's a good thing that there's, like, it's good and bad that we were waiting in there for the countdown earlier, but there's a lot of catch-up time that we had. And sorry, guys, you weren't able to get a little bit of that juice, but we have missed each other right there, and a lot more. Looking forward to a lot more with airtime with you, AJ. We'll miss you and everyone in here, as well as we're going to end this day a little bit too early. Hopefully you enjoyed what has been offered in here for today's matches. Well, Neptune, the Gentleman Garcia, together with the Mustachio AJ, will be saying goodbye and good day to everyone.